dengan nyanyian lagu Negaraku, nyanyian lagu Hikmat Awam dan juga nyanyian lagu Malaysia Inovatif. Mengikut perkilian terbaru, kita akan setiap majlis perlu ada lafaz ikrar. Jadi kita akan adakan lafaz ikrar rukun negara. Kemudian bacaan doa diiringi dengan amanat perhimpunan dan juga perasmian sambutan Hari Inovasi 2024 oleh Tuan TKPO kita, Dr. Isham. Dan penyampaian hadiah dan juga tayangan video perhimpunan bulanan serta sesi fotografi dan bersurai. Saya mohon anda semua untuk kekal hari inilah di auditorium ni lah, daripada pagi ni Taklimat SSPA sampailah kita bersurai, sesi fotografi dan juga bersurai. Kita akan mulakan dalam masa 10 minit lagi. Mohon maaf, harap anda tuan-puan bersabar. Kita masih lagi menunggu tetamu VIP kita, Tuan TKPO. Tuan TKPS. Okay, kita mengumumkan ketibaan Timbalan Ketua Pengarah Strategi Encik Ambon Dindang. Semua hadirin dijemput duduk. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Saya mengalu-alukan kedatangan daripada Dell Technologies. Okey. Pada pagi ini adalah sambutan Hari Inovasi dan Perhimpunan Bulanan Jabatan Meteorologi Malaysia yang akan bermula pada pukul 11.30 pagi sehingga petang. Okey, sebelum kita mulakan majlis kita pada hari ini, kita buka majlis dengan bacaan umum kita Al-Fatihah. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Okay, bagi agenda seterusnya, dengan segala hormatnya, saya menjemput penceramah kita untuk pagi ini, iaitu Encik Effendi Abdul Rahman, bagi menyampaikan taklimat perkeliling perkhidmatan SSPA kepada tuan-tuan dan hadirin sekalian. Dengan segala hormatnya, saya persilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Terima kasih pengacara majlis yang dihormati Cik Ambon Dindang, juga Puan Doktor, dan seterusnya delegasi-delegasi yang hadir daripada Dell dan rakan-rakan sekalian. Okay, tanpa membuang masa, saya ada sejam saja untuk taklimat pada hari ini. Untuk makluman, perkeliling SSPA, kalau siapa yang dah buka, dah baca, ada lebih kurang 1,000 lebih muka surat. Dan slide pada saya pada hari ini, kalau ikutkan originalnya ada 100 slide. Saya cuba sentuh yang penting sahaja. Mungkin tak sempat saya nak kita go through semua slide dalam masa sejam ni. Saya akan tumpukan kepada penglibatan mat sahaja. Sebab kalau kita nak sentuh skema online nanti kan dia berjela. Dan untuk makluman, saya diberi taklimat oleh JPA lebih kurang 8 jam lah. Itu pun tak habis. So saya ada sejam untuk cuba terangkan dalam tempoh yang singkat. Tapi tak apa, saya cuba sedaya upaya. Dan sekiranya kalau ada Q&A dan sebagainya dalam online dan sebagainya, sekiranya kita tak sempat nak jawab, Mohon terus hubungi PSM untuk maklumat lanjut lah. Dan pasukan-pasukan saya insyaAllah cuba membantu, dan sekiranya, ini memang biasalah, ada soalan yang terlalu teknikal, mungkin PSM Mat tak boleh jawab, kita akan terus ke NRES dan seterusnya ke JPA. Dia ikut case by case lah. Okay. Kita ke slide seterusnya. Oh, dia ada ni, ada video. Okay, ini kandungan yang dalam slide saya pada hari ini ada 10, iaitu peningkatan penggunaan nilai dan seterusnya, tawaran option. Last sekali, baru kita terima, kita akan sentuh untuk option. Okay, kita ke saya yang slide pertama saya tak akan sentuh banyak, dia melibatkan pembudayaan nilai yang ada dalam kerajaan Malaysia sekarang ni, iaitu nilai dan wadah yang dibawa oleh PMX, iaitu Madani, iaitu juga Tan Sri KSN yang baru, iaitu Malaysia dan Tan Sri KPPA. Hemat, tu boleh baca sendirilah, saya tak akan describe sebab dia masih yang lama. Seterusnya berkenaan kita punya motor dan sebagainya, saya tak sentuh. Okay, seterusnya penetapan kelaikan. Ini yang penting, kelaikan masuk minimum dalam perkhidmatan awam. Sedia maklum, sekarang ini klasifikasi perkhidmatan awam telah yang ada dalam sekarang di Malaysia ada 21 klasifikasi. Yang kalau kita tengok kat depan, A, B, C, D, E, F semua dah ada masing-masing punya skim lah yang terlibat. Yang untuk MAT banyaknya di C lah. Okay, masih kekal lagi, tiada perubahan untuk itu. Seterusnya kita penetapan kelaikan masuk minimum. Kalau kita tengok skim yang terlibat sekarang ini, ada 13 skim yang kita orang kata apa, terlibat dalam penetapan kelaikan masuk ni. So kalau kita tengok kat sini, yang kita terlibat adalah pembantu operasi, pembantu awam, pemandu kenderaan. Ada 3 lah yang kita terlibat di MAT, iaitu mereka ni kelaikan masuk sekarang adalah PMR. Dan sedia maklum, Malaysia sekarang dah PMR dah tak ada, PT3 pun dah tak ada, dah dimansuhkan. So sehubungan itu PMR pun dah tak ada lah kelaikannya. Dan kerajaan sekarang telah mengemas kini dasar-dasar dan seterusnya, kemasukan ke penjawat awam sekarang ni akan bermula pada SPM. Yang sedia ada yang 3 tadinya, pemandu kenderaan, pemandu awam dan operasi itu, kita akan ada taklimat khas lusa. Kita tackle terus mereka ni, macam mana dari segi perkhidmatan, dari segi kenaikan pangkat dan lain-lain lah. So saya tak sentuh detail pada hari ini. Okay, ini kalau kita tengok contoh penggabungan daripada pemandu khidmat awam, pemandu kenderaan dan sebagainya, dia akan jadi satu skim yang sama. Dia akan jadi satu rumah yang sama. Maknanya pemandu PO, kita punya pemandu operasi, dia akan jadi satu skim yang sama lah. Arti kata pemandu lepas ni tak semestinya hanya memandu, dia boleh buat kerja-kerja PO ke atau PA dan sebagainya. Okay, ini saya tak sentuh. Ini lebih kepada taklimat yang akan datang. Okey, seterusnya penyelenggaraman grade. Okey, sedia maklum, siapa yang pernah alami sebelum ni, kita pernah ada grade 1, 2, 3 sebelum ni lah. So kita ibaratnya macam setelah dikaji dan sebagainya, kita menggunakan kadar grade yang baru. Seperti tuan-tuan tengok di atas sekarang ni kita akan bermula pada grade 1, iaitu SPM lah. PMR tak ada. So nanti mereka yang PMR tu akan terus masuk ke dalam grade 1. Ibaratnya dia orang, ibarat macam seperti naik pangkat lah, terus ke grade SPM. So mana-mana yang sekarang grade 19 atau 20, dia akan jadi grade 1. Ikut skim lah, kalau dia N1. Kalau macam pegawai, kalau skim meteorologi dia tak ada dah ni, dia terus ke 20, dia skim 3. Skim dia N20, 25, 29, betul. Dia terus skim bermula minimum untuk grade 5. Okey, ini seperti mana sampai ke atas sehingga grade 56, iaitu 15 maksimum lah. Okey, jusar dan sebagainya tak terlibat, masih kekal. Okey, kalau tengok kat sini ada satu grade 36, ada 2. Atau 36 di grade 6 dan 36 di grade 7. Okey, beza 36 di grade 6 dan 36 di grade 7 ni adalah, kalau tengok kat sini ada note kat sini, ada untuk kenaikan pangkat kali kedua. Bermaksud siapa yang grade 29 sebelum ni terus jump ke grade 36, dia akan jadi grade 6. Tapi siapa yang daripada grade 29 masuk ke grade 32 dan terus ke grade 36, dia akan jadi grade 7. Dia dah 2 kali naik pangkat. Itu je lah perbezaannya. Saya rasa kalau ada pun terpencil lah kes kat MAT ni. Kes seterusnya penjumutan skim perkhidmatan awam. So ada beberapa skim telah dijumutkan. Sedia maklum 25 skim tadi, 23 skim telah dijumutkan. 12 skim yang SPM tadi, yang daripada PMR ke SPM. 5 skim STPM diploma dan ijazah sarjana muda. Nanti kita terangkan satu persatu. Okey, yang ini kelayakan. Kalau di slide ini kita tiada yang terlibat, so saya skip. So seterusnya kita ada penolong pegawai penerbitan 2 orang dan dia jumutkan menjadi penolong pegawai tadbir N5 lah. So sekarang ni kita punya penolong penerbitan sekarang ni telah dijumutkan menjadi penolong pegawai tadbir di N5. Seterusnya untuk kelayakan SPM, kita ada juga pegawai khidmat pelanggan. Pegawai khidmat pelanggan kita 3 orang, 4 orang akan jadikan dia masuk diserap ke PTPO. So bermaksud dia boleh buat kerja-kerja pengkeranian yang lain lah. So dia dah wide sikit dia punya bidang tugas, tak semestinya duduk di kaunter sahaja. Okey, seterusnya yang ni kita tak ada pegawai wireless dan sebagainya. Kalau kita tengok kat sini, dia dah serap kepada skim-skim yang parent. Kalau dulu dia mungkin kader, dia jadi parent, dia akan ikut parent teruslah. So terus jumut skim-skim yang lama. Okay, seterusnya penambahbaikan struktur gaji. Okey, sesiapa yang menerima option SSPA, dia akan layak mendapat penambahbaikan struktur gaji yang telah di announce oleh kerajaan. Juga pemberian pelasan gaji pada Disember 2024. Dan tidak menerima option, dia kekal dalam SSM punya struktur gaji lah. So tiada apa-apa kenaikan dan sebagainya. Okey, kalau kita tengok kat sini penambahbaikan dari struktur gaji, kadar minimum terendah sekarang ni adalah 1,500. Kalau sebelum ni, kalau siapa yang baru masuk latihan PMR, dia tak sampai pun 1,500, 1,200 lebih kurang lah. So bila dah sign option ni, dia terus gaji minimum dia 1,500 dan lain-lain lah kenaikan dan lain kenaikan. Okay, seterusnya struktur gaji minimum dan maksimum ditambah baik. Kita dah selaraskan semua. Kalau dulu sebelum ni, skim ni dia min max dia berbeza-beza. Sekarang ni dia selaraskan semua skrip. So kita pakai satu jadual saja. Kalau dulu kita kena buka satu jadual lain, skim ini jadual lain. So sekarang ni kita dah selaraskan semua jadi satu jadual sahaja. Okay, seterusnya kadar kenaikan gaji tahunan di gaji maksimum pun berubah. Nanti kita akan terangkan. Yang ni biasanya dah langgar tembok lah. Nak senang-senang faham. Dia pun ada perubahan. Okey, ini yang telah dimuktamadkan. Pada yang menerima SSPA, pada fasa 1 kita akan terima 8% kenaikan gaji atau minimum kenaikan 240. Biasanya minimum 240 ni grade yang PMR tadi lah. Kadang-kadang dah tambah 8%, 1,500 pun tak sampai. Kita lengkapkan 1,500. Ataupun kadang tak kenaikan 8% tu tak bersamaan nilai 240. Mungkin RM200, dia akan dapat 240. Ini yang grade rendah sikit lah. Dia supaya dia dapat lebih maksimum. Sebab tu kalau kita kira-kira balik, ada yang dapat kenaikan 40%, ada yang kenaikan 20%, dia berbeza-beza mengikut grade lah. Okey, bermula pada 1 Disember fasa 1, maknanya bermulanya skim SSPA bermula pada 1 Disember dan fasa 2 akan bermula pada 1 Januari 2023, tambahan 7% daripada gaji akhir 31 Disember 2025. Sebab dia bermula 1 26. So dia akan 2 kali kenaikan. So jumlah 15%. Ni senang kira 15%. Sebenarnya berbeza mengikut masing-masing. Tapi minimum tu purata 15. Okey, untuk pengusaha yang tertinggi iaitu JUSA, CBA, Turus, KSN dan sebagainya, 4% untuk fasa 1 dan 3% untuk fasa 2. Dan seperti yang dimaklumkan oleh PMX pada pembentangan bajet Jumaat lepas, untuk 7% ni KSN, KPPA dan pegawai-pegawai Turus tidak menerima lah 7% untuk tahun ini. Tak pastilah, tapi di statement sebegitu untuk Turus, KSN dan sebagainya. Yang JUSA masih kekal lah, jangan risau, masih menerima. Okay, seterusnya kaedah penerasan gaji. Yang ini mungkin saya tak sentuh banyak lah. Okay, sebab kalau tengok kat sini penerasan gaji, kalau kita dah terang kat sini, gaji di batas 3,000 kita ikut 8% terus. Tapi gaji bawah 3,000 bila dia kira-kira memang dia tak akan sampai 240. So kita bagi je 240. Maknanya senang cerita kalau gaji basic tak sampai 3,000, dia akan terima terus RM240. Maknanya which is melebihi 8% lah. Okey. Dan fasa 2 pada gaji hakiki terakhir 31 Disember 2025 tambah je 7%, senang. Siapa-siapa yang dah ada pernah pergi kalkulator SSPA di JPA tu, dia boleh letak siap-siap, dah tahu dah gaji dia pada fasa 2, dia boleh nampak lah. Siapa yang pernah kira lah, yang rajin dah boleh fokus. Okey, tahun 2025 gaji dia dah sekian banyak. Dah mula plan lah nak beli itulah ini lah. Kalau siapa yang dah pergi kalkulator SSPA ya. Okey, untuk pegawai yang terlibat dalam usaha pertukaran pelantikan, kenaikan gaji, kenaikan pangkat akan bermula pada kenaikan pangkat pada tarikh penerasan gaji, diberi penerasan gaji terlebih dahulu. Sekarang ni memang ada beberapa proses kenaikan pangkat. So kita akan buat kenaikan pangkat dahulu, baru kita akan buat penjelasan gaji. Ini tak ramai yang terlibat lah. Okay, yang ini fikiran pun saya tak sentuh sebab dia terlalu teknikal. Untuk kemudahan, yang ni yang ada sedikit perubahan pada SSPA. Okay, yang ada kemudahan yang terkini lah, yang update, iaitu cuti, waktu bekerja, pakaian, perubatan dan tambang antara wilayah. Ni yang di-highlightkan lah, yang telah dipersetujui. Dan untuk pertama, cuti tanpa rekod kelompok. Ini yang barulah. Okey, sebenarnya cuti tanpa yang kelompok ni baru, tapi yang cuti dalam ni cuti lama lah. Okey, cuma yang biru tu adalah cuti baru. Yang diperkenalkan untuk SSPA. Okey, kalau tuan-tuan perasan, cuti SSPA ni, cuti kelompok dia diberikan maksimum 20 hari setahun kalender. Okey, selepas ni bila sebut SSPA, kebaikan dia punya gap yang kena diterangkan adalah dalam tempoh 1 tahun kalender. Sebab dia akan ambil konsep 1 tahun kalender terus. Dia dah tak ada dah untuk 1 tahun perkhidmatan ke apa, dah tak usik dah. Dia dah kelaraskan apa-apa lepas ni pengiraan 1 tahun kalender saja, Januari hingga Disember. Senang kira. So untuk cuti kelompok ada 20 hari diberikan cuti kelompok khas 20 dalam, ibarat macam satu tabung lah. Ada 20 hari dalam cuti tu, boleh digunakan untuk 18 cuti yang terlibat ada dalam ni. Okey, kalau tengok atas ni ada garisan kan. So ada sampai 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tu isteri bersalin, urusan kematian ahli keluarga terdekat, menjaga ahli keluarga sakit, umrah dan keagamaan. Untuk 5 yang pertama tu, kita boleh ambil 20 hari maksimum. Kalau kita nak pakai semualah, ibarat tabung tu, kita nak pakai 20 hari maksimum. Contohlah saya ambil sini, umrah. Umrah sekarang 7 hari diberi oleh kerajaan. Sekarang ni dia beri tabung 20 hari. Sekiranya nak ambil 20 hari terus, tak ada masalah. Tapi lain-lain cuti dah tak boleh pakai lah. Kalau tiba dia anak sakit dan sebagainya, tak boleh. Dia dah buat konsep guna sama. Cuti tu diguna samakan. Okey, kalau kita tengok kat sini, hanya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tu je boleh ambil maksimum 20 hari. Yang lain-lain ni tertakluk kepada cuti-cuti yang telah disyaratkan dalam perkeliling lah. Kalau tengok kat sini, ambil peperiksaan, masih lagi ikut perkeliling pada hari peperiksaan saja dan sebagainya. Dan lain-lain ni, hari mengundi. Kalau tengok yang baru menjaga ahli keluarga sakit, sekarang ni dah boleh. Sebab sekarang ni kadang-kadang walaupun bukan kuarantin, tapi sakit, Mungkin anak tu yang cuti, tapi parents kena kerja, boleh ambil cuti sakit, cuti ahli keluarga sakit, untuk dalam tabung 20 hari itulah boleh pakai. So tak semestinya kita nak kena kuarantin saja boleh ambil cuti, tapi tertakluk kepada syarat-syarat yang tertentu. Dan cuti-cuti baru, sumbangan ilmu di peringkat antarabangsa nombor 13, 14, pertukaran program peringkat antarabangsa. Yang terbaru adalah 16 hari mengundi, kita boleh dapat apply cuti kalau kita nak cuti. Dan rawatan hemodialisis, itu nanti akan perkeling asing akan dikeluarkan ya. Okey, seterusnya cuti separuh gaji. Sebelum ni kita untuk SSM kita berikan kepada 5 senarai ini saja, tapi di SSP diluaskan, orang kata apa, sanak saudara yang rapat, iaitu ibu bapa angkat, ibu bapa tiri, anak angkat, anak pelihara, anak angkat defektor dan anak tiri tanggungan. Dia dah meluaskan kemudahan itu kepada tambahan kepada 6 lagi. Okey, seterusnya ke kemudahan cuti menjaga anak. Mana tak ada. Sekejap okey, dia laju pula. Okey, cuti menjaga anak sedia ada kepada pegawai wanita sajalah untuk jaga anak. So sekarang ni dah diluaskan kepada pegawai lelaki. So fair and square lah. Sebab ada yang mungkin banyak urusan-urusan lain lah untuk cuti menjaga anak ni. So kalau ikutkan syarat dia, terhad kepada 1 tahun sepanjang tempoh perkhidmatan atau sehingga anak mencapai umur 5 tahun. Sama saja syarat dia pada yang diberikan kepada pegawai wanita sebelum ini. Okey, BDR, bekerja dari rumah. Untuk sedia ada memang tak ada elemen permohonan dari pegawai sebenarnya. BDR hanya diberikan oleh jabatan. So sekarang ni boleh mohon, mana dalam SSPA pegawai boleh mohon BDR tersebut. Okey, dan tarif tafsiran rumah telah diperluaskan, iaitu alamat tempat tinggal yang didaftarkan dalam remis atau lokasi yang bersesuaian sebagai tempat bekerja tertakluk kepada pertimbangan dan kelulusan ketua jabatan. Mungkin bukan di rumah semata-mata, mungkin ada keperluan di kampung atau di tempat-tempat lain, rumah saudara dan sebagainya, untuk tujuan BDR. So nanti perkeliling ini pun akan diperjelaskan oleh perkeliling asing, dia akan diberikan oleh JPA kemudian, tapi ini yang telah diperkenalkan. Bermaksud sekarang ni arahan pegawai boleh memohon atas kelulusan ketua jabatan masing-masing lah. Okey. Seterusnya pekerja secara shift, ini pun banyak terlibat di MET. Okey, sedia ada waktu bekerja seminggu 46 jam, dan di SSPA telah dikemas kini menjadi 45 jam termasuk rehat, atau purata 45 jam jumlah bekerja bagi 4 minggu berturutan termasuk rehat. Okey, yang ini pun akan perkeliling asing dikeluarkan secara detail, termasuk dia punya contoh-contoh lah, sebab kat sini saya tak terangkan. Ini saya hanya ceritakan insentif yang diberikan oleh SSPA. Seterusnya pakaian seragam. Okey, yang ni pun kebanyakan pakaian seragam ni terlibat di BKP lah, pemandu, PO dan sebagainya. Telah diseragamkan di SSP, iaitu pakaian seragam masih lagi sama 3 pasang dan 2 pasang kasut, dan pakaian keperluan tugas. Okey, yang ini term baru lah. Seperti malam yang saya bagi tahu sebelum ni, PKP khidmat pelanggan telah dijadikan N1 sebagai PTPO, dan siapa-siapa saja PTPO yang ditempatkan contoh di kaunter khidmat pelanggan, dia layak dapat baju blazer tu lah. Okey, tapi yang ditempatkan sahaja. Ini antara term yang baru. Dan pakaian bilik panas komputer dah ditukarkan nama kepada bantuan pakaian panas tempat kerja. Okey, dia dah bagi syarat-syarat di situ, dan 200 setiap 3 tahun. Ada naikkan RM50 daripada 150. Okey, bayaran baju kod. Ni kalau macam saya beritahu tadi, khidmat pelanggan ada blazer. Kalau di mahkamah ada mahkamah dan sebagainya. Seterusnya bantuan pakaian jubah mahkamah, saya tak sentuh, kita tak terlibat. Kemudahan vaksin. Ni siapa-siapa yang baca ataupun yang orang kata viral lah. Okey, kemudahan vaksin ni, kalau tengok di SSPA, kemudahan vaksin atas asas keperluan perkhidmatan yang diwujudkan. Bukan bermaksud kita wajibkan semua ambil vaksin, tidak. Bermaksud sebelum ni mana-mana vaksin yang diambil oleh penjawat awam dibayar sendiri. Maknanya kita keluar duit sendirilah dan tak boleh claim sebenarnya. Tapi untuk SSPA, mana-mana yang kerja tu tersebut memerlukan suntikan vaksin dan kerajaan tanggung. Sebagai contoh, pegawai alam sekitar sebagai contoh, dia pergi ke pusat sampah sebagainya, dia ada perlu vaksin-vaksin yang tertentu untuk sebelum dia turun ke lapangan. So boleh ambil dan kerajaan tanggung. Begitu juga pengendali makanan, siapa-siapa jadi sebagai operator makanan di hospital, kena ada typhoon dan sebagainya pun ditanggung oleh kerajaan. Kalau sebelum ni dia bayaran sendirilah. Okey, seterusnya kemudahan pemeriksaan kesihatan, ini masih sama, kita kekalkan. Seterusnya kemudahan perubatan bagi anak pegawai yang masih mendapat pendidikan melebihi umur 21 tahun. So sebelum ni kalau kita tengok untuk kemudahan perubatan anak sehingga 21 tahun sekiranya sambung belajar, dan di SSPA dia telah kemaskini sehingga umur 26 tahun. Mana yang terdahululah, sama ada dah tamat ataupun umur 26 tahun yang sampai dulu. Okey, dia naikkan 5 tahun tambahan. Okey, seterusnya kemudahan tambang antara wilayah. Yang ini nama ditukar kepada nama lah. Kalau kita tengok, selaraskan nama dahulu: tambang ziarah wilayah, tambang insah wilayah, dan tambang mengiringi jenazah dan menguruskan pemindahan barang antara wilayah. Okey, yang paling besar adalah perubahan adalah pada kelayakan. Sebelum ni adalah tempat lahir ibu bapa, dan sekarang yang terkini telah dikemaskini adalah wilayah tempat menetap ibu bapa. Sebagai contoh, sekarang ni mungkinlah ada yang bila ni saya contoh nak senang cerita, ada mungkin Sabah Sarawak yang bekerja di Semenanjung, dan mungkin ibu bapa juga menetap di sini, mengikut mungkin anak sebagainya bertugas dan menetap di sini, dan secara automatiknya dia tidak layak dah untuk mendapat apa-apa tambang selepas ini. Siapa yang ayahnya menetap di sini, mengikutlah. Sama juga sekiranya di Semenanjung dan mak ayah mengikut daripada Semenanjung ke Sabah Sarawak, sama juga dia tak layak untuk mendapat apa-apa tambang yang dinyatakan tadilah. Itu paling ketara lah. Jadi sekiranya menerima option SSPA, tuan-tuan perempuan sekiranya yang sebelum ni memang dah biasa mohon tambang wilayah dan sebagainya, kemaskini tempat wilayah menetap ibu bapa di Hermes segera. Okey, supaya dalam sistem tu dah trigger, kita tahu okey bila nak mohon kena tengok wilayah asal ibu bapa menetap di mana, di situlah yang akan kita pertimbangkan. Okey, jelas ya? Okey, seterusnya tambang ziarah wilayah pun sama. Kalau kita tengok kat sini, berkhidmat di tempat menetap ibu bapa. Dia dah selaraskan semua syarat-syarat tersebut menjadi tempat menetap ibu bapa. Yang ni dia mungkin ada banyak soalan. So saya mungkin tak akan terangkan satu persatu secara detail, mungkin boleh terus tanya ke PSM kemudian, termasuk tambang dan sebagainya. Okey, ziarah tambang wilayah. Yang ni ada detailnya, sebab mungkin kita akan terangkan pada Q&A nanti. Dia panjang sebab dia ada. Okey, yang paling ketara sekali kalau kita tengok sini, saya dah cerita, diberi sekali dalam tempoh 1 tahun kalender. Ini paling penting saya nak highlight, sebab sebelum ni kita ikut tempoh perkhidmatan. Kalau dia masuk April tahun ni hingga April tahun depan, setahun tu dia boleh apply. Sekarang ni dia masuk ikut 1 tahun kalender je. Senang nak ingat. Kalau tidak kita tak nak buka buku, nak tanya dan sebagainya. Dia terus tahun ni mohon, tahun ni pakai. So masuk tahun depan, tahun pakai. So dinasihatkan yang masih belum mohon pada tahun ini, pakai tahun ini sebelum 1 Disember. Nanti kalau sampai 1 Disember dah terus automatik kita akan ikut 1 tahun kalender lah. Okay, dimohon yang masih belum memohon apa-apa tambang wilayah pada tahun semasa ini, walaupun kita tahu ada yang sampai tahun depan pun masih layak lagi, tapi bila tahun depan dah sign SSP, dia tak layak lah, dia akan ikut 1 tahun kalender. Okay. Seterusnya ini pun saya tak terangkan. Tambang ni macam banyak ni. Okey. Ni terbaru. Pegawai yang diberikan kemudahan ini tertakluk kepada memperoleh markah penilaian prestasi terakhir sekurang-kurangnya 75%. Siapa yang lebih bawah 75%, bila kita tengok semak markahnya kurang 75% dah tak layak untuk memohon tambang tersebut lah. Dia dah ikut markah dah pula. Pegawai yang berprestasi rendah dah tak, kalau kita tengok markah dia kurang 75% dah tak layak mendapat apa-apa kemudahan tambang yang telah disenaraikan tadi. Okey, jelas Seterusnya, okey, tempoh perolehan ni. Yang belum guna tambang wilayah yang saya kata tadi untuk tahun ni, mohon habiskan pada tahun ni juga. Jangan bawa carry forward Maksudnya tak boleh, walaupun tahun depan kita dah start tahun semasa, nak macam tabung pula, kita nak bawa ke tahun depan tak boleh lah. Dia kena habiskan tahun semasa juga. Okey, seterusnya tambang ihsan. Kalau ikutkan kat sini sama juga, dia hanya berubah wilayah menetap ibu bapa. Semua benda-benda yang mengikut wilayah asal ni akan terus mengikut wilayah menetap ibu bapa. Sama juga tambang mengiringi jenazah sebagainya, wilayah tempat ibu bapa berkenaan. Tukar, kita dah highlightkan warna hitam ni. Itu saja yang di-highlightkan. Juga untuk tambang kiranya dah meninggal, maknanya di lokasi terakhir itulah. Okey, seterusnya allowance. Okey, ini allowance yang ada, kriteria yang telah pembaharuan, yang dimasuh, dipindah nama, allowance yang berkuasa, pegun, kadar pegun allowance dan ITK secara KP. Okey, untuk perberhentian allowance, ni saya nak highlight sebab kita mungkin ada terlibat juga berkenaan ini. Pembayaran allowance adalah dihentikan sekiranya pegawai dalam keadaan berikut: pegawai tidak melaksanakan tugas yang melayakkan pemberian allowance. Maknanya kalau dia tak buat tugas tu, tak dapat allowance tu. Pegawai tidak ditempatkan di penempatan yang melayakkan allowance. Ni ada beberapa tempat yang ada allowance, ada tempat tak ada allowance. Contoh PTPO buat kewangan, dia dapat allowance kewangan sikit. Yang PTPO tak buat kewangan, dia tak dapat lah. Ini contoh. Dan pegawai tidak hadir bertugas tanpa cuti atau tanpa lebih dahulu mendapat kebenaran ketua jabatan. Cukup tak maklumkan, dia boleh terputus allowance tersebut. Okey, kadar allowance pegun, ini yang baru. Nama dia pegun kadar allowance. Okey. Seperti mana sedia maklum, pegun kadar allowance ni dia akan bermula pada 1 Disember 2024 ini. Okey, mana-mana allowance. Bagi contoh kat sini, bayaran insentif pedalaman. Ini pedalaman kita tak terlibat Mana yang kita terlibat? Kejap saya tengok. Okey, saya terus ke ni lah. Kita terlibat. Ni wilayah imbuhan, bayaran imbuhan wilayah. Okey, untuk pegun kadar allowance di SSPA, selepas ini dia akan kadar tetap sehingga pencen mengikut grade. Kalau grade 1 4 tadi 270, grade 5 hingga 8 300, 9 hingga 15 360, utama khas ke atas 960. Okey. Bagi sesiapa yang ada allowance ini, apa-apa allowance lah, allowance terutamanya allowance imbuhan wilayah yang lebih tinggi daripada senarai ni, ada tak? Yang sekarang dapat? Okey, sesiapa yang sedia ada sehingga 30 November 2024 lebih tinggi pada senarai ini, nilai imbuhan tu akan dibawa terus ke bulan Disember. Maknanya sebagai contoh, sekarang ni imbuhan BIW ni contohlah untuk grade paling tinggi 9 lah. Sekarang contoh 500 contoh. So bila masuk SSPA dia kekal 500 tu. Boleh dikekalkan, tapi kekal lah. Dah tak ada akan naik dah setiap tahun, dia akan kekal sampai pencen ataupun sampai naik pangkat lah. Kalau turun tiba-tiba naik utama jusa, dia akan kalau lebih tinggi daripada jusa tadi, dia akan maintain lah. So maksudnya nilai terakhir tu yang tertinggi tu akan maintain. Okey, walau bagaimanapun sekiranya contohlah ada yang dia dah balik ke wilayah asal, dia tak akan terputus, betul? Terputus dan tiba-tiba naik pangkat, datang balik SQ contoh, dia akan ikut kadar baru ni. Dia dah terputus. Apa-apa yang dah terputus, dia tak akan sambung semula. Dia akan ikut jadual baru. Jelas So mungkinlah kita boleh syorkan kepada perusahaan tertinggi, kalau nak gerakkan orang tu mungkin kena tengok sikit lah allowance dia berapa. Kalau tidak nanti bila dia patah balik, nanti dia akan jadi kurang. Mungkin boleh strategis sikit lah nak pemindahan-pemindahan yang akan datang. Ini simulasi saya tak sentuh lah. Maknanya sebagai contoh, kalau pegawai baru lantik, dia dah tak ikut dah 10% dan sebagainya, dia terus ikut kadar. Ini biasanya yang kadar tertinggi tu akan ikut kadar pegawai-pegawai yang dah senior lah. Dia takkan terganggu, melainkan dah terputus. Okay, saya tak tentu simulasi tersebut. Okey, untuk pegawai yang menerima imbuhan tetap khidmat awam lebih tinggi daripada SSM, dia akan ikutlah mana-mana apa-apa allowance yang tuan-tuan sekarang ada. Kalau jadual baru SSPA ni lebih rendah pada sedia ada, dia akan carry forward yang lama. Itu senang faham. Ataupun kalau yang saya faham apa yang diberikan oleh JPA, apa-apa imbuhan dan sebagainya, gaji atau apa-apa allowance, semualah yang sekarang lebih tinggi daripada jadual sedia ada, dia carry forward saja. Yang terutama yang pegawai yang tengah sign SSPA lah. Kebanyakan jadual baru ni digunakan pakai oleh pegawai-pegawai lantikan baru saja. Okey, tak perlu risaulah tiba-tiba. Senang cerita, gaji kita takkan kurang daripada sedia ada walaupun dah sign daripada SSPA ni. Dari segi apa-apalah allowance, gaji dan sebagainya. Termasuk kenaikan gaji. Kenaikan gaji nanti pun ada punya ada tambahan-tambahan. Kenaikan gaji tahunan yang lebih tinggi daripada sekarang, kita akan follow saja. Okey? Jangan risau sebab ramai yang khawatir bila tiba-tiba naik tahun biasa kita naik 200, tiba naik 150. Tak, kita akan follow sedia ada. Yang dah dinikmati sekarang. Okey, ni saya tak sentuh lah. Untuk pengurusan bakat, ini banyak yang telah dikemas kini lah. Okey, sedia maklum untuk my performance. Sekarang kita dah buat dua penilaian pada tahun ini, iaitu my performance dan LNPT. Dan untuk makluman, LNPT yang terakhir pada tahun ini lah kita bagi markah untuk LNPT, dan tahun depan 100% my performance. Bermaksud kita sign SSPA, tahun depan dah implement 100% my performance. Dah tak ada lagi apa orang kata LNPT dan sebagainya. Okey, dan markah juga telah diberikan. Kalau kat sini dia bagi guide 74.99 lemah. Masa tadi lah lemah bawah markah 75 tadi dah tak dapat allowance kan. Dia takrifkan di sinilah. Lemah 74.99, memuaskan 75 hingga 85, 85 hingga 95 baik, dan cemerlang 95 dan ke atas. Itu takrifan dalam my performance. Okey, seterusnya tambah baikan untuk PPC. Ni kita tak terlibat lah sebab yang buat PPC ni JPA. APC, ni jabatan terlibat lah. Untuk prestasi atas 90%. Lulus lapisan tak tertib pada tahun penilaian. Okey, yang ni saya tak sentuh, ni lebih kepada pengiktirafan. Seterusnya pergang gaji tahunan. Okey, dasar baru untuk laikan gaji tahunan. Kalau sebelum ni kita melihat prestasi, yang telah ditambah baik adalah prestasi dan tempoh yang melayakkan serta lulus lapisan tata tertib, barulah akan diperaku untuk pergerakan gaji tahunan. Okey, dan kalau kita tengok kat sini siapa yang ambil cuti tanpa gaji, cuti separuh gaji, maaf saya tak kurang sihat sikit hari ni, dan kombinasi cuti tanpa gaji, cuti separuh gaji melebihi 180 hari, dia tak layak dapat kenaikan gaji tahunan. Termasuk juga tidak menjalankan tugas jawatan melebihi 180 hari. Mungkin pergi sana, pergi kursus ini, itu, ini dan sebagainya, tak buat kerja pun, melebihi 180 hari pun tak layak dapat kenaikan gaji tahunan. Termasuk juga perintah pemulihan dan sebagainya, ataupun ditahan mahkamah sebagainya, tak melakukan kerja, dia lebih 180 hari, dia tak layak. Juga gagal tapisan keselamatan, gagal tapisan tata tertib, dikenakan hukuman tata tertib dalam tempoh penilaian pun tak dapat untuk kenaikan gaji. Serta mana-mana kombinasi 4 ni melebihi 180 hari. Kalau macam dulu siapa cuti tanpa gaji, dia kalau dalam orang kata di PSM ni ada yang bijak sikit, ambil cuti sikit ni, cuti sikit ni, combine layak, memang layak. Lebih 180 hari pun tak kerja pun ada di tempat lain lah. Sebabkan dia mengambil cuti yang melayakkan. Tapi sekarang ni lebih je 180 hari dah tak boleh naik gaji. Sebab dulu banyak juga masalah bila kita ambil sikit cuti ni, combine lebih 180 hari, end up dapat juga naik gaji. Tapi sekarang ni dah kerajaan dah tengok mungkin dah banyak sangat kes sebegitu, dia terus buat untuk cap 180 hari. Okey, seterusnya insentif. Insentif berdasarkan prestasi, BIPS. Okey, ini dia ada akan buat pengkeliling khas lain lah. Yang ni dia akan memaklumkan untuk layak. Kalau ikutkan sebelum ni dia ada TBK 1, TBK 2, boleh naik grade lah, daripada grade 1, 2 dia boleh daripada TBK 1, TBK 2. Untuk 3, 4 ni dah hujung-hujung ni dia boleh diberi kenaikan menggunakan BIPS ni. So kalau dulu dia TBK 1, TBK 2 lepas tu stop. Yang ni dia boleh lagi untuk grade 3, 4 boleh naik menggunakan insentif BIPS. Juga untuk diploma, untuk grade 7, 8 boleh naik lagi walaupun dia dah TBK 1, TBK 2. Kalau sekarang TBK 1, TBK 2 dah stop dah, dia tak naik gaji dah, tak naik grade. So lepas ni daripada grade 7, 8 ni dia akan ada satu lagi kata kaedah untuk naik pangkat lagi lah. Yang ni akan diterangkan oleh pengkeliling yang akan datang. So bila layak untuk mengambil insentif berasaskan prestasi ni, dia akan dapat satu KGT automatik. Okey, kemajuan kerjaya. Ada 4 yang diperkenalkan, iaitu kenaikan pangkat secara one off, kenaikan pangkat tanpa kekosongan, peluasan jawatan grade fleksi dan laluan pakar bidang khusus SME. Okey, keempat-empat ni akan ada pengkeliling berasingan juga. Sebab dia tak kalau sumbat semua dalam satu keliling tu takkan, bukan 1000 page saya rasa dah banyak. So dia akan buat sub keliling lah. So, untuk kenaikan pangkat secara one off ni, untuk kumpulan PNP grade 9, 10 dan 12, saya difahamkan grade untuk kenaikan secara one off ni dia dah ada senarai sebenarnya. JPA dah ada senarai, dah skim terlibat. Cuma dia tak beritahu mana yang terlibat lah. So untuk skim-skim tersebut saja, cuma dia tak reveal lagi lah. So dia bukan terpakai untuk semua. JPA dia dah ada satu, dah ada keputusan, cuma dia belum blast lagi pengkeliling tu. Cumanya siapa yang terlibat dalam senarai yang disenaraikan tu layak untuk mohon. So saya tak sentuh yang ni, tapi dia akan ada kenaikan pangkat secara one off. Seterusnya kemajuan kerjaya, kenaikan pangkat tanpa kekosongan jawatan dengan kriteria kecemerlangan. Okey, ini yang terlibat adalah pegawai sains untuk skim C, pengajar untuk skim U dan pegawai latihan untuk skim E. Untuk makluman, ketiga-tiga ni memang sangat susah nak naik pangkat lah sebenarnya. Terutama pengajar dan lecturer. Memang dia kalau grade masuk 41, 44, memang pencen 44 punya. Dia jarang naik sampai ke, sebab dia dah tak ada peluasan grade dia. So kali ini memang kerajaan memperlihat 3 skim ni ataupun 3 skim perkhidmatan ni perlu diberi kenaikan tanpa kekosongan. Maksudnya dia boleh naik pangkat daripada tempat sedia ada. Yang ni kita tak terlibat walaupun ada C kat situ. Okay, seterusnya kemajuan kerjaya, peluasan jawatan grade fleksi. Okey, yang ni yang kita biasa buat, ada kat mat banyak lah. Okey, sekarang ni untuk grade, sekarang kalau kita perasan grade fleksi 41/44, 48/52, dan untuk SSPA Dia buat juga sama dan pergabungan terus sekali 4 tangga sekali. Maknanya tangga 9, 10, 11, 12. 9, 10, 12, 13. 11 tu tak ada. Kenapa ya? Sebab itu hanya skim polis saja. So saya sentuh 9, 10, 12, 13. Okey. So maksudnya sekarang ni fleksi dah boleh di 4 tangga terus. Maknanya buat siapa-siapa kalau mungkin expert di bahagian itu boleh stay lama lah. Okey. Yang ni pun ada pergi yang lain, nanti akan diberikan perincian sekiranya ada. Okey, untuk SME. Untuk SME sekarang kerajaan setuju untuk fokus pada 7 bidang sahaja buat masa ni. Bidang AI, nanti ada taklimat pada AI oleh Dell. Ni kalau siapa yang berminat boleh lagi jadi SME kepada AI. Seterusnya transformasi digital, keselamatan cyber, peralihan tenaga, teknologi makanan, pengurusan bencana dan persebadanan negara. So saya ada semak juga dengan GPA. Mungkin SME yang kita sedia ada ni remain. Maksudnya dia nak masuk balik pun boleh, ataupun nak celik ahli baru pun boleh. Cumanya disyorkan itulah kita di bawah pengurusan bencana. Tu kena semak balik dengan JPA lah, apa dia punya tajuk-tajuk kecil tu lagi. Tapi buat masa ni mat, kalau tanya saya tak ada masalah lah kalau nak SME. Okay, yang lain-lain lah sebab dia dah letak 7 bidang siap-siap. Okay, yang ni nanti kalau ada pekeliling khas kita akan edarkan kepada semua yang ada di mat lah. Sebab kita pun pernah terlibat dengan SME. Seterusnya prinsip dasar pemisah. Kita dah ada sebelum ni dasar pemisah. Cumanya kita dalam SSPA ni dia telah memperhalusi dan menetapkan markah kurang 75%. Dah boleh buat dasar pemisah. Maksudnya dah lemah sahaja boleh buat dasar pemisah. Kalau sebelum ni 60 65. Kalau sebelum ni nak buat 65 jarang orang dapat markah 65. Tapi sekarang ni dia naikkan markah 75, which is lemah lah tadi, dia senaraikan lemah. Okey, kalau untuk perusahaan tinggi dia dah ada KPI, dia dah tak pakai kita punya sekarang ni. Semua jurusan ke atas dia akan ada penunjuk prestasi KPI. Ada sistem masing-masing lah. Okey, dan saya difahamkan dia lebih pendek. Okey, LPT kalau sebelum ni bawah 60. Sekarang di bawah exit polisi yang terkini SSPA 75%. Okey, dan sekarang saya difahamkan kalau sebelum ni 12 bulan 36 bulan proses untuk exit polisi memang agak lama lah. Sekarang ni dah dipendekkan jadi 18 bulan. So dia pendekkan separuh lah. Tapi 18 bulan tu masih lagi lama. Sebab dia step dia banyak. Sebab dia bila pegawai lemah ni dia banyak faktor. So kita bila nak buang tu kena ikut faktor yang betul-betul sesuai lah. Kita tak boleh nak berhentikan suka hati ya. Seterusnya tawaran option. Ini yang ada. Okey, ini saya letak dalam satu slide senang. Okey, yang terlibat untuk yang maksud ada 199 skim. Dia tak ada apa masalah. Maksudnya dia bukan jawatan skim jumut tadi yang diterangkan ataupun yang digabungkan ataupun sebagainya. Ini normal 199 skim. Itu termasuk skim meteorologi lah di pada borang G. Make sure borang G ada tulis kat situ lampiran G tulis G1 maksudnya borang G lah. Siapa yang dapat selain daripada borang G tu maknanya tu borang lain. Kena tengok kena semak balik sebagainya. Okey, 11 skim. Termasuk pemandu tadi dia akan pakai borang B. Ada pemandu kat sini ke? So dia pemandu PO, PA dia akan pakai borang B. Yang ni sebab apa? Borang B sebab apa dia dah dijumutkan skim dia tadi. Yang lain-lain dijumutkan di bawah SSP tak ada. Mana untuk A, B, C, D dan E ni kita tak ada lah. C ni ada untuk 3 orang saja. Okey. Seterusnya untuk taruh option. Ni saya ada yang belum dapat borang option tak? Okey, yang dah dapat borang option tu kalau nak sign hari ni pun boleh. Kalau nak fikir-fikir lagi mungkin dah nak berbincang dah buat kiraan semula dan sebagainya, masa yang diberikan sehingga paling lewat 30 November 2024. Diberi masa 40 hari bermula semalam. Okey. Bergerak pula. Okey, syarat option. Yang saya nak tekan kat sini, nanti bila buat pemilihan option kan ada setuju dan tidak bersetuju, ada 2 je kotak kan. Mohon semua yang memilih mana-mana kotak buat tanda right. Jangan buat tanda pangkah buat tanda betul. Kalau ada contoh pun kita dah letak tanda right tu lah. Jangan pangkah macam kata undi. Tu kita reject lah. Hanya yang diterima right saja. Okey, bulat ke lukis kartun ke apa semua tak terima. Kita akan pulang balik lah. Okey, saya takut nanti mungkin ada beberapa yang dah buat X ni. So siapa yang dah buat tu boleh minta salinan lain kepada PSM. Okey, 10 minit lagi. Pemakaian option. Okey, kalau kita tengok kat sini, mana-mana yang membeli option SSPA, dia akan dapat semua yang saya bentangkan tadi. Okey. Termasuk semua yang kenaikan pangkat dan sebagainya. Okey, ini contoh bukan contoh, ini betul lah. Siapa yang bercadang untuk tidak memilih SSPA, sebagai contoh kekal di SSM, dan mungkin perkhidmatan tempoh perkhidmatan ni ada lagi dalam mungkin lebih 10 tahun, lebih kurang 5-10 tahun, dan dia mungkin akan ada kenaikan pangkat, satu kenaikan pangkat mungkin lah. So bila tak memilih SSPA, bila naik pangkat nanti automatik mereka akan masuk SSPA secara automatik. Tak boleh lari dah. Bila naik pangkat saja dia terus masuk ke dalam SSPA. Itu kena jelas lah. Walaupun dikata mungkin tak nak, mungkin kita nak kekalkan allowance sedia ada dan sebagainya, tapi bila sahaja ada kenaikan pangkat, automatik terus masuk ke SSPA. Okey, option yang dibuatlah mutamat. Bermaksud bila PSM terima saja option telah ditantangani, tersemak lengkap, dah tak boleh patah balik. Okey, samalah. Okey, ini tempoh yang diberikan 40 hari daripada semalam sehingga 30 November. Dan ini saya nak highlight. Seperti mana yang saya maklumkan tadi, kenaikan penyelarasan gaji akan bermula Disember 2024, which is Disember ini. Siapa yang memilih SSPA, penyelarasan gaji akan terima pada Disember ini. Gaji mana yang kita dapat? Gaji yang tuan-tuan sign. Kan dalam lampiran tu ada. Sebelum SSM gaji apa, SSPA gaji apa. Bila sign saja SSPA, gaji baru tu yang tuan-tuan akan dapat pada 19 Disember 2024. Gaji Disember awal sikit So okey, cuma sesiapa yang nak dapat gaji awal pada 19 Disember tu mendapat penyelarasan gaji, kena hantar sign ke, pulangkan semula dokumen lengkap ke PSM pada 11/11. Macam sale lah 11/11 dah kena ada di PSM, barulah dapat penyelarasan gaji untuk bulan 12. Sekiranya lewat daripada itu, dapat juga penyelarasan gaji tapi Januari lah. Siapa yang sign mungkin lama sangat fikir, terimalah, tapi masa tu dia hantar pada mungkin 30 November. Maknanya gaji pada Disember dapat gaji lama lagi. Dan pada Januari akan dapat backdate lah. Siapa yang nak pakai awal, nak Christmas ke apa, mungkin dah plan, hantar awal lah. Okey, itu saja. Saya rasa itu saja kat slide. Okey, ini tak ada apalah. Sekejap saya tengok. Okey, ini contoh borang yang dah dapat. Contoh pun kita dah bagi. Untuk negeri-negeri, pengarah negeri saja boleh sign dan sebagainya. Alamat di mana yang di negeri, alamat negeri lah. Dan yang akan sign semua adalah pengarah negeri sebagai ketua jabatan. Di HQ, pengarah bahagian masing-masing sebagai ketua jabatan. Alamat HQ lah. Dan semua pengarah-pengarah di HQ BKP semua pengarah-pengarah bahagian di HQ dan di negeri akan tuan PKP yang akan sign lah sebagai PSM punya head. Okey. Untuk bahagian-bahagian yang akan sign di kolom pengarah ketua jabatan adalah pengarah bahagian masing-masing atau pengarah negeri masing-masing. Alamat ikut alamat masing-masing lah. Tapi untuk pengarah-pengarah yang sign tadi itu di bahagian masing-masing, semuanya akan ditandatangi oleh Tuan PKP sebagai ketua jabatan. Sebenarnya bukan semualah, maknanya pengarah-pengarah level sahaja akan ditandatangi oleh PKP. Kita dah bincang dengan ni PKP saja sebagai ketua pengarah pengurusan yang sign. Di KPO apa semua saya rasa atas KP. Grade lagi tinggi. Okey, untuk lain-lain urusan, memang saya tahu banyak soalan. Untuk soalan-soalan yang teknikal, maksudnya saya akan naik pangkat selepas ni apa semua, tu boleh, siapa tak dapat jawab pada hari ini, kita akan jawab pada, saya tengok ada tak lagi slide. Tanda right dua kotak je ada ni, pilih atau tak pilih, right je. Okey. Untuk barang maklumat tambahan ataupun ada yang masih lagi keliru dan sebagainya, mungkin kami jawab mana yang boleh jawab. Sekiranya terlalu teknikal, kita akan minta pegawai hubungi hotline di SSPA. Untuk NRES ada pegawai yang telah dipertanggungjawabkan, dan untuk JPA pun ada pegawai yang dipertanggungjawabkan. Okey, lagi 5 minit baru baki ni, saya buka untuk soalan lah kalau ada.
Okey, boleh tanya soalan. Ada yang nak bertanya soalan?
Kadar mana yang tertinggi ikut jadual. Betul-betul, maksudnya masih kekal lagi lah, dapat lagi allowance kan. Betul, tapi kadar yang masa saya beritahu tadi, kadar yang lama tu lebih tinggi pada kadar baru, dia akan ikut kadar lama secara KUP, betul. Dan terputus sekiranya tuan balik ataupun dah tak layak untuk dapat allowance tersebut, dia akan terputus, dan bila sambung balik akan kadar baru lah. Lagi soalan lain ada? Okey, tambahan untuk pencen dan sebagainya, mungkin ada isu pencen, saya punya kiraan pencen dan sebagainya. Akta pencen tak berubah. Yang SSPA ni hanya untuk pakai untuk sepanjang perkhidmatan saja. Bila pencen saja dia ada akta pencen, tak berubah. Apa-apa yang pencen sebenarnya dapat 60% dan sebagainya, dapat gratuity, semua sama. Jangan risau ya. Cumanya sedia maklumlah, lantikan dia pada start pada April tahun ni dah tak ada pencen. Maknanya semua lantikan baru ambil skim SSPA, dia dah tak ada pencen. Sebab tu gaji tinggi sikit. Sebab diorang kena bayar KWSP dan sebagainya. Yang kita yang dah ada dalam skim pencen ni, maintain lah. Tak ada terkeluar dari pencen. Dan umur masih lagi, siapa yang sign option 60 tahun masih kekal. Dia tak ada perbezaan ada 65 tahun ke, tak ada. Okey. Maknanya isu pencen dan isu umur bersara tak berubah. Maknanya masih lagi ikut yang lama. Okey, ada soalan lain sebelum saya serahkan kepada pengurusi majlis?
Intan, boleh?
Ada online ke online? Apa dia? Khusus dengan arahan kerajaan berbeza dengan yang tidak bertugas. Tu kalau khusus tu, bila kita khusus, kita dalam jadual khusus dan kita dah ada diarah oleh kerajaan untuk khusus dan sebagainya, dan ditanggung oleh kerajaan, tak ada masalah. Yang belajar jangka masa panjang di bawah latihan JPA, SPA dan sebagainya, tak ada masalah. Yang ambil cuti tanpa gaji itulah yang melebihi satu. Sama. MC sakit, semua bila dicampurkan lebih 150 hari dah boleh terputus airline tersebut. Nanti kalau sekiranya saya dapat perincian table tu, nanti saya akan blast email lah. Sebab memang akan ada banyak lagi pilihan yang akan datang selepas ni. Okey, soalan online ada? Banyak. Tak apa, nanti kita akan jawab kemudian lah.
Cik Fendi,
ya.
Kalau cuti belajar pun macam mana?
Kalau cuti belajar di bawah kelulusan JPA kan ada cuti belajar, itu tak ada masalah. Tapi cuti belajar hilang ni, yang jenis cuti sakit, cuti hilang, macam-macam lah. Yang tak buat kerja lah, betul-betul dia macam-macam cuti dia ambil. Yalah, macam mana? Kalau lebih 140 hari. Maksudnya tak ada KGT tadi lah. KGT pun tak layak.
Okey, sekiranya ada soalan lagi, boleh email terus pada Tuan Effendi kita. Yang mana atas talian pun saya harap email je terus pada Tuan Effendi. Nanti Tuan Effendi akan jawab. Kalau dia tak faham, dia akan tanya SPA lah. Jadi yang atas talian juga saya mohon untuk sekiranya sebarang persoalan, sebab mungkin kita ada masa yang agak terhad. Jadi boleh email terus pada Encik Effendi dan Encik Effendi akan jawab.
Okey, saya rasa itu saja. Terima kasih kepada tuan-tuan dan puan, dan saya akhiri taklimat dengan wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih banyak-banyak di atas penerangan daripada Encik Effendi Abdul Rahman daripada BKP. Sekali lagi saya kata, sekiranya ada sesiapa yang ingin bertanya, boleh terus email kepada Encik Effendi kita lah. Okay, bagi agenda seterusnya kita bagi take 5 dulu. Nanti masuk balik. Siapa nak pergi? Saya bagi 5 minit je. 10.40 boleh masuk.
Testing.
Peringatan mesra bagi yang mana yang tidak isi hak kehadiran, boleh scan QR code dekat pintu masuk dan pintu sebelah belakang, dan juga dalam email ada link kehadiran. Jadi bagi atas talian pun bagi mohon untuk isi kehadiran.
Testing, testing.
Kita menunggu 10.40 sekejap ya.
Boleh, boleh, boleh.
Ha.
Boleh, boleh. Nak 10 minit pun boleh. Bos cakap jangan.
Mohon para hadirin masuk ke dalam dewan. Kehilang. Tak dengar. Ha?
Wait.
Okay, Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Kita teruskan bagi agenda seterusnya. Itu ceramah inovasi yang bertajuk Masa Depan AI, Masa Depan dengan AI dan Cybersecurity and Protection Backup. Ceramah ini akan disampaikan oleh Mr. Renaud T. Shin Ming, Miss Brenda Niam, Mr. Kartik Kumaravelu dan Mr. Siddharth Pokatil.
Ya. Okay, selamat pagi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Okay, daripada pihak Dell, kami amat berbesar hati kepada pihak pengurusan daripada MET kerana menjemput Dell untuk membuat sesi perkongsian hari ini. Okey, tapi hari ini saya nak bagi tahu pihak tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, saya ada 2 kolik daripada Singapura, satu daripada Singapura, satu daripada India. Diorang tak tahu berbahas dalam bahasa Melayu. So, lagipun ada ungkapan-ungkapan teknikal daripada AI susah kita nak terjemahkan kepada bahasa Melayu. So kita akan campurlah. Okey. Tapi katakanlah hari ini sesi kita nak buat secara spontaneous. So I tak nak bila kita cakap atau berucap semua orang dengar je. Okey. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya terus tanya. Okey, kita akan jawab. Okey. Okay, terima kasih. I nak introduce my team. Okay, I campur ya. Okay, so nama saya Reynald. I orang Malaysia, obviously. Okay, I jaga DCSE. DCSE maksudnya Data Center Solution Enterprise Team. So kita orang jaga server, storage, backup, DR, AI, high performance computing, IoT, macam-macam lah. Okay, mana? Ni trik ni. Okay. Lepas tu I nak introduce my teammate Pokatil Siddharth. Dia akan menerangkan dan berkongsi pasal teknologi terbaru daripada Dell untuk AI solution. So today kita akan berkongsi teknologi yang relevan kepada weather forecasting. So I tak nak buat perucapan secara general. I tak nak buat AI general, semua AI. So not relevant. So kita nak buat lebih fokus kepada weather forecasting. Okay, so dia akan share. So Brenda Niam is our data protection as sales specialist, juga cybersecurity specialist. So kita buat banyak tender-tender public sector. Okay, kerajaan sekarang dia jurus kepada security, cyber security. Bukan saja pihak kerajaan tapi juga pihak financial, bank-bank dan institusi seperti insurance. So cyber security adalah sangat penting. Kita akan berkongsi solution, dan lepas itu I will talk my friend Kartik Kumaravalu is from the unstructured data storage. Apa maksud unstructured? Unstructured dia macam files, images, videos, okay, ataupun semi-structured dia macam Twitter, tagging, okay, macam tu semi-structured. So we will share how our unstructured solution for your purpose, sebab dalam weather forecasting kan kita lihat mapping, images, semua dalam format PDF dan bentuk-bentuk lain yang kita jenamakan sebagai unstructured. Okay, dan kita akan berkongsi bagaimana kita menggunakan AI untuk combine this solution to give you better results. Okay, ada apa-apa soalan tak? So I'll pass the mic to my teammate Pokatil Sidat. Right, so okay, sebelum I pass, lepas ni kita akan ada satu sesi question and answer. So katakanlah tak sempat nak tanya benda-benda lain, benda-benda yang berkaitan now, we can talk about it later. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hi Pokatil, welcome.
Hi, good morning everyone. First of all, I could not understand a lot what he was saying. I could realize he's saying that I live in Singapore, but I can tell you I kind of live in Malaysia more than Singapore. Malaysia, I'm almost every second week I'm in Malaysia, and my wife keeps complaining, why are your clothes getting more and more tight? I was like, the food in Malaysia is way better than Singapore. I hope this is not recorded. But yeah, I put on like 7 kgs ever since I started to work with Malaysia. I have been in and out of Malaysia for a long time, since 2010. But in my most recent role, I look after Southeast Asia. And Malaysia is very dear to me because the food is amazing, people are amazing, and there's a lot of development which is happening. So congratulations to all of you, first of all, in terms of, I think I saw the budgets. Malaysia is on the growth compared to any other ASEAN country. It's doing really amazing. Now, coming back to the topic which I will be talking about, right? So I have been with the IT industry for more than 20 years, but I am not a meteorologist. I was sitting over here next to some people who are looking after the typhoon and others, and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to be talking about meteorology? No, I can't talk to you about meteorology. I can't give you any recommendations on meteorology because you are all the experts. But today what is happening, as we see, the whole industry is getting revolutionized, it's getting digitized, and it's all about data. Now, how do you extract value from data? Is using AI, which I will talk about. In fact, I would say it got me back to my childhood also, because I met one of the leaders out here who has been in a city called Pune, and he mentioned about in the 90s. And I was in school at that time. I did not tell him at that time, but yeah. So for me, it's more in terms of the technology side, on how we see from our side your business, but you are more from the subject matter experts. It's going to be a collaboration that we look at. Okay, the clicker is chosen not, okay, it's off, okay. Okay, so to set some context, if anybody of you have not heard about AI, I guess you all have been living under a rock, okay? AI is a term today anyone and everyone talks about. There are some myths, there are some realities, but let me tell you what exactly is the main factor why AI is being spoken so much about. No, I'm not talking about ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been a revolutionary application which made a lot of awareness among common people. But more importantly, it is the ability of being more productive. So productivity gain is the fundamental thing which AI is got so popular about. Now, you may have a question, like many customers who ask us, is it going to replace humans in terms of work? Answer is no. Why? A machine learns what it has been taught, and today what it has learned may not be relevant after some time. So there's a relearning, and the experts like you would come in, remodel it, improve the the AI model, and definitely it's going to take human to teach the system to get better. That's point number one. Point number two, yes, there would be some roles which are definitely getting impacted, like marketing will become more easy and whatnot. It's basically helping humans to focus on more complex tasks, and repeatable tasks can be using AI. Now, while we say this, it's very easy in terms of having ideas. I can tell you, every time I meet somebody, they would say, I have an idea. What if we could do this, this, this? Well, that's the part where I would say you need to kind of be an expert in the domain before you start your journey on AI. Otherwise, it will just be something which is very much in the air. So for that, let's start to dive in on the methodology. Now, more than me, you all will be experts to talk about this. So my intention is not to teach you about methodology and where its application is. I have been reading a lot of articles about MET, and I was just sharing with one of the persons sitting besides me, and she told me one of the article I was reading of a director who retired from Malaysia, and he had written a very interesting article, and it was about the importance of methodology. And it kind of struck a chord with me, because I got to understand methodology is not just about weather. There are so many things which are interlinked. And what I learned was aviation is one of the industry which is using weather, of course, everyone knows that. But the part of aviation, why it's so important on methodology is, tomorrow if there's an accident or something unforeseen which happens with the plane, then if you have to go and get your insurance, the Met department has to provide the statistics in terms of what the weather was and what caused it. And so while you talk about aviation in terms of safety, it also plays an important role in terms of FSI when it comes to insurance and whatnot. So it's an amazing kind of domain that you're in, because it could be in aviation, maritime, that's straightforward, but also the lives of farmers. I could see in Malaysia, especially recently, a lot of floods and others are happening, and I think the efforts which I have been reading is towards getting these areas to improve, so that we are able to, you are able to provide more informed information to farmers to improve, know when to yield the crop, and the whole cycle basically. So again, several points which are there connected to weather. So that was a mind-blowing experience for me to read through it. However, I could see there were few opportunities which have been highlighted by y'all, when I say y'all as in MET, in your articles, and also what we have been hearing few of our customers who are in the meteorological departments globally. One example is New Zealand. Now, firstly, when it comes to weather, it's a very chaotic sort of data which you have to deal with. if you don't have the initial conditions correctly matched, it could probably, not be very accurate in terms of your analysis. All right. So, and given the factor that most of the traditional methodology like MWP, the numerical weather processing, has been based on physics and algorithms. But those algorithms, if you look at it today, they may not be very relevant. Why? Because of the weather change. So climatic conditions globally have started to change. Thus, the traditional mechanisms of what we considered may not be accurate as well. The other part is in terms of when you look at the traditional weather forecasting mechanisms, it is very compute heavy. I had the fortune in terms of working with one of the meteorological department, and I was not in Malaysia, it was back in India, and I was amazed on the supercomputer which was built. The supercomputer, from a IT perspective, you feel proud when you look at that system. There's a lot of CPUs, and there are racks of infrastructure. And you know what I realized when I spoke to them? They would run these physics models, and the systems would be running at such high rate. And I asked them, when will it come out? They said it'll take hours, days, weeks. Well, it's quite expensive. So the traditional mechanisms of using physics models has been fundamentally very much running on supercomputers, which is quite an expensive component. However, when it comes to the accuracy, the level of resolution, it is tens of kilometers apart. Correct me if I'm wrong. So in terms of the models, it would be at a 10 kilometer or more or less in terms of the resolution that is there. Now, if you have to go more, so for example, if it's 10 kilometers and if you want to make it half to 5 kilometers, because the more smaller your radius is, the more accurate your models would be. But for that, based on some of the papers I've read, it would take 16x more compute power to finish that job in the same time which was doing earlier. So cost is a big factor in terms of these workloads. The third is in terms of and this is something which even MET has published, with the current models which are there, you could do forecasting for up to 7 days. And for that purposes, it would take a lot of computing power. So if you have to do a now analysis of the weather, or if you have to do a forecasting for a future, you can imagine it's kind of complex with the traditional methods of forecasting. Now, in terms of these factors, also when it comes to any events like the flooding or heavy rainfalls and others, you need to be able to capture the early events so that you are able to identify when it's going to happen. But the ability for you to forecast way in advance, these are areas which are kind of challenged today with the traditional mechanisms. And that's where I could come to know from the last 3 days, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm sitting right here in Met. So you were the best guys if this is fake news or true news. It's true? Okay, great. So I saw that 3 days back, there's an announcement in terms of Met or y'all using AI in terms of your weather forecasting methodologies, which is great. And I'll talk more about what Dell can offer in terms of this journey. So, again, this morning when I was speaking to somebody, I was astonished in terms of how simply the person mentioned to me on what AI is. There are so many complicated, definitions for AI. But the right thing is looking at collecting the data, massaging the data, and getting an output. Now, between the massaging and the output, it cannot be done by people like me or any data scientist. It would be with some subject matter experts like you. So when you look at technology today, it is not something which can be done by only one person, because there's a complexity in technology, there's a complexity in terms of knowing the domain, and there's a complexity in terms of knowing the mathematics and statistics and others in terms of it. So when you look at the input data, data is where it all begins. If you have no data, you have no AI. If you have bad data, you have bad AI. If you have limited data, you would be inaccurate in terms of your predictions. So the ability to kind of look at your historical data or your radar-based data, or I got to know even that you still have the balloons being sent up. So all that sensor information in terms of the pressure and all of those information are of different types. However, when it comes into analytics, you can start to look at correlation between these data, which you could not do traditionally. Like somebody said, massage the data. So you got to know what the data is for you to massage it. If you don't know what the data is, you really would not be able to make head or sense of what it is. And the last part is in terms of deriving the outputs which are there. So in terms of when you look at the key focus areas, at Dell we focus AI not only for sales but internally as well. But when I talk about the similarities from a meteorological standpoint, the first thing is going to be accelerating forecasts. So beyond just using NWP mechanisms in terms of doing the calculations, now you would be able to accelerate by collecting data from different systems and use GPUs and AI technologies to accelerate outputs. Now, this would also give you the mechanism, like I mentioned, weather forecasting is a chaotic business, with all due respect. When I say chaotic, meaning like there are so many relations, humidity, perception, there you go. So I'm not an expert in that space, but these are so many technical terms, and finding the relationship of how one element impacts the other, this from a human perspective is limited. But an AI system could help you derive those new relationships, which is possible today, right? It also uncovers the hidden patterns, which we may be not familiar with. So today, in terms of like data coming from a radar system or from the balloon information or whatnot, I'm just making this up. But the key part is AI is only effective when you are able to converge information from different data sources and on a time series basis find out what factors impact the others, and that's how you build a model. So you're able to see the kind of sequence of activities and its dependencies. Most importantly, it helps optimize costs. Now, why? Because like I mentioned, the supercomputers which I've been a part of, it was always a technical marvel, but it's not sustainable in terms of the level of detail you want to go into on an analytics standpoint. So it's a breath of fresh air from a meteorological side in terms of leveraging AI, which can help you in terms of optimizing your compute requirements. Yes, you would have a heavy amount of storage to use, and my colleague Karthik will be talking more about that. The last is in terms of a unified weather data. So again, the key is data and then AI. It's not AI and then data. So it helps you to unify all the data streams that you're getting today to get the output as part of your outcomes that you're trying to derive, okay? Now, when it comes to AI, has anyone heard of Gen AI or Chat GPT? I'm sure, yeah, many heads are saying yes. So what's the difference, okay? So one is the traditional traditional AI, and the other one is the generative AI. Now, you may ask me the question, what's the difference and what will be the use cases for MET, for example, right, for MET? So traditional AI is more in terms of machine learning, deep learning. You are trying to look at data sets and find patterns recognition, and it's more about descriptive information in terms of relations between your data, and it can help you in terms of making decisions, okay, using different data sets and whatnot. So that's the part of the traditional AI, which is machine learning, teaching the system, or deep learning with regards to the system learning by itself. Generative AI is transforming the world because generative AI is more like you are talking to a computer now. For example, you can say, help me find information on how to prepare a recipe for rendang, for example, on ChatGPT, and it will give you the entire recipe. How? Because it understands the context. So I asked a question on creating a recipe, and I've given the name of what I want to create. It will go and find in the system what are the next words to provide and the steps, and it will give you that specific recipe as you ask. It's very different compared to search. It's very transformative. Generative AI is a big topic because it helps you in productivity. I'll give you an example. So today from a Med department, correct me if I'm wrong, when I was reading through your services, you provide API services, correct? So whatever precipitation or the wind pressure or whatever those factors are, I'm certain that you are offering today API services for different government agencies or developers and whatnot. Why? Because they may be creating a Grab application or a Waze application, and they need to know what the statistics of the weather parameters are, correct? And that's what you provide as an API. Now, let me tell you one of the problem with this, or not problem, but area which could be improved. If you come and tell me, Sid, this is the precipitation, this is the humidity, this is the so-and-so, this is the so-and-so, I would be like, so what are you trying to say to me? I don't understand. As a common person, I want to only understand if it is safe to go outside, is it going to rain heavily, or is there some lightning? Those numbers don't make any sense to a common person like me. So, what can you do? Think about you building an LLM-based API. So, all those technical numbers which you were telling me as jargons, I would basically say, like, I am planning to drive from Malaysia to, let's say, I don't know if you really drive from Malaysia to Ipoh, but I'm just asking, should I drive to Malaysia to Ipoh on this particular part? The LLM API goes and checks and tells me that there's a high chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, both on Saturday and Sunday, along with the route, flash floods, blah, 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 blah. That's simple English to me. So as a user, I don't have to deal with understanding those technicalities which you are well versed with. The large language model will take that information that you have and provide it to a developer to integrate into their applications. Doesn't it make simple? It could be anyone. It could be the aviation industry. It could be an application like Grab. It could be a potential for revenue as well. But you're a government agency. I have no idea on how those factors work. But I would say this is something which can be enhanced than traditional APIs that you provide. So you provide an outcome, and you basically provide the ability for new developers to come with new ideas, leveraging statistics like from the Met. So, coming to the heart of the topic, so what does Dell do in this space? So, if you're familiar with Dell Technologies, many of us, many clients do ask us like, aren't you the guys who make laptops and monitors? Well, we do. But there's a bit of story I will tell you. If you look at Dell, we had our founder, who's Michael Dell. In 1984, he came up with an idea of creating desktop laptops for consumers. Was it a great idea? Well, you got to understand the business model that he used to become great. Was he the one who invented desktops? Answer was no. Does anyone know who the inventor was of PCs and stuff? It was IBM, one of the pioneers, right? And back then, now this is 1984, I was born in 82, so I have no idea. But stories say that during that time, a PC was a very complicated technology to purchase. People will ask you what kind of RAM you want, what kind of drive do you want, what is the PSU required, this and that. So at that point, this guy, Michael Dell, had an idea that why not I make it simple for people? So he did not invent the technology, but created a model by which consumers can easily go to market and, place an order for a hardware and provide all the knowledge and services and the gear to make simple to buy PC and at a much effective cost compared to IBM. So that's how our business DNA started. We are again in that same, our DNA has not changed. What we find is AI is again a very complex technical topic. Everyone will say AI is this, AI is that. Our focus is to go back to the basics and provide an end-to-end solution to drive an AI business. So that's the, I would say, the key part on what is a Dell AI factory. It's not a physical factory. But did you know our factory is in Penang? We manufacture the GPU servers in Malaysia. And not just for Malaysia, we ship it from here to the whole of Asia Pacific, Japan. So that's thanks, and that's something which we're very proud of because we have a huge plant over here. And many of the customers in Malaysia like the fact that it's made in Malaysia. They want to buy it and whatnot. So yeah, moving on. When it comes to AI, definitely it's a new technology. It's complex. I would say no one person is an expert in AI. And also what we understand is the risk level. Now this may not be very much applicable to you, but for most customers where they're not very technically savvy, they find it a risk factor on how to use AI and it's expensive for them. It won't be expensive for you because your supercomputers are way expensive than these. So, what has Dell done differently? Let me be honest with you here, okay? There are many vendors who provide AI servers. So GPU is manufactured by vendors like NVIDIA and it's made by AMD and Intel. Your question is, Sid, what's the difference if I buy from Dell or buy from a Lenovo or an HP or whatnot? The fundamental factor for Dell, which is different, is all these systems we have not just taken and put it into a server and shipping it out. We have our engineering teams who have gone ahead and done testing validation. About 320K engineering hours have gone into testing the solution, not just from a GPU aspect, but the end-to-end ecosystem to drive your AI. Why? If we don't do it, you would have to purchase it and do those tests by yourself because there are many, compatibility factors, factors that is it going to be providing you the best performance and whatnot. So that's the work which we have done beyond just providing the servers and storage. So we have a Dell validated designs which can make it easy for you all in terms of deploying these solutions. Well, this is not just me saying. This man, if you're familiar with, Jensen Huang, he's the NVIDIA CEO. He mentioned that as well. So NVIDIA GTC, he pointed out to Michael Dell, who was sitting there about 4 times, saying that if you want to build an AI solution from scratch, call Michael. Yeah, it was a great marketing achievement for us. We use this as a marketing gimmick. But to be honest, we have very strong collaborations with NVIDIA because they are focused on the silicon, but we provide an end-to-end solution to customers. I'll give you a quick walkthrough in terms of what is the Dell AI Factory. Okay, so this part I can talk much more in detail than I can talk about methodology. So as you all are methodological experts, I come from this part. So this is my area. Just kidding. So the fundamental part when it comes to AI, it starts with data. So data can be anywhere. Now, if you have a radar, it's probably out there somewhere in a remote space. It's not in a data center. So how do you basically leverage, how do you collect data from there? Or are you doing any analytics at the edge? So there are several cases in which we find like data is not sitting inside a data center. It could be a weather station. It could be a remote location on the sea and whatnot. So edge, data center, or it might be in a cloud. So we have a solution strategy in terms of how do we work with data from different sources, and not just different sources, but different types of data, structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. Then it comes to like, where do you run all this data? So we have these solutions in terms of the infrastructure, like compute, that is servers, GPUs, storage, networking, everything that's essentially required in terms of building a whole AI factory. On top of that, I would say is the heart of the Dell AI factory. This is the ecosystem. So we firmly believe that it's not one company to offer an AI solution. So we have partnerships with Meta, if you're familiar, like Llama and all of these comes from Meta. We have partnerships with Hugging Face. We have partnerships with NVIDIA. And I'll talk more about it. So having the ecosystem is important because as we are extremely good in infrastructure, there are some partners who are very good in software. So we validate those solutions to run on Dell so that you get the best of performance and you have a single neck to choke in terms of support. Next is services. Services are more in terms of hand-holding you on your journey in terms of your day one deployment of the servers. It could be building your platform so that you do not have to worry about the infrastructure platform. You directly get the access to the AI workspace. Or if you want data scientists, we have also hired data scientists in our team. There are a few of them in Singapore. And we could always bring them as a data science member to collaborate with you in terms of designing these solutions. So these are all the factors which we have. And we have use cases as well. So like I shared with you some of those use cases. Methodological department is very unique. I would say generally FSI or other cases, we have these solutions. But the idea which I shared about the large language model on how you can convert your APIs using LLM, that is something we can, from a technical perspective, collaborate with you to make sense of what these numbers and what should be the human simple language communication. Yeah. So from a data perspective, I won't spend too much time here because Karthik is going to cover, but it could be data from analytic systems. So typically if you have radar systems, I'm assuming It is going to be data in the sense of, like JSON files, or it could be telemetry data which gets transferred. If it comes to like satellite images or any other imaging, it will be unstructured data. So the key part is like, how do you have access to all this data? Because remember, the fundamental is, if you want a good AI, you need to have a good data strategy. So we have something called as a data lakehouse. The idea is not to have all your data in one place, but you should have a single place from where you can access all the data. So that is what we have as a lakehouse. And all of this would run on the infrastructure, network, and storage that we have as part of our AI factory. So again, data is the most critical part, and we have solutions to best optimize in terms of your storage needs. The next is going to be in terms of right sizing your AI investment. Now, when I talk about AI, it is not like in one day everything is get transformed. Again, this morning I had this conversation and it was quite what I thought. It won't be a radical change that today you do NWP and then you become AI. No. We don't find that happening across any industry. It will start with doing some sort of a pilot and doing an expansion of the pilot to a larger project and whatnot. So for us, we have a solution which is scalable. So you could start small and you could scale to a larger platform. And the platform is such that we could try to accommodate most of the AI, Gen AI use cases within this framework. So we have the validated designs for different workloads. So that's the part where it is important. There are many techniques, if I talk about, like there could be inferencing. So if you have a model which has already been created, then it's more about consuming that particular model which is inferencing. But if you want to create a model from scratch, which is creating training the model from the basics, we do have the infrastructure architectures and we do have services to work with you on that. Now, when it comes to the infrastructure, we do also have edge systems. So if you have, let's say, 84 radar stations. So 84 radar stations, if you are having a compute device over there to either collect data or to analyze data at the edge, we have something called as native edge, which is orchestrating all those sites from a single site. So your security, your lifecycle management, pushing updates, all of that can be done from a single site. When I spoke about ecosystems, NVIDIA and Dell, we have a very close relationship. This is what is called as the Dell NVIDIA AI Factory. It's a collaboration in terms of the infrastructure. So it could be the latest GPUs of NVIDIA, or it could be the NVIDIA AI software. Like NVIDIA has a whole suite of software solutions, for example, NGC. So if you have an Android or you have an Apple, you would have an application workspace where you can go and download certain softwares directly. NGC is something similar like that. So solutions like Llama, Mistral, these are all models. I'm throwing jargons out there. But these are models which are already available for you to use and fine-tune to your particular requirement. So all of that is available over there. When it comes to inferencing, there is Triton. In simple, you need to have good software to make the most of your hardware. So this collaboration ensures that the software and the hardware both are completely validated and you get the best of both. The good part is we can sell you the entire solution including the software, and you have one number to call instead of calling multiple people. Also, we could provide you with the services to not just implement the infrastructure, and that's my next slide. We have the solution in terms of the infrastructure and the software as well. Now, what we have is a consulting group and we have a services team. So if you are in the stage like you have mentioned 3 days ago in the public forum that you are going towards AI, we could have a consultant spend time with you, because that consultant, again, is not from the meteorological department of any country. No. But they are data scientists who are familiar with how to manage data, what are the techniques in terms of AI, and they could give you some guidance, you all as the SMEs, and we as the statistics and the model training and other parts. Which reminds me of a simple joke, have you heard the term data scientist? Has anyone heard what is a data scientist? Yeah? Let me tell you, there's really no much data scientist, in the real world. Whenever I come across some extremely bright person who's passed from university, they are very good in statistics, they are very good in coding, okay? When I meet somebody who's very much in the domain, got gray hair or white hair, they are very knowledgeable in the domain, but they are not familiar with coding, nor interested in statistics. Well, a data scientist is a combination of all three. You need to know coding, you need to know statistics, and you need to know, most important, the domain. So many people, when we meet today, they call themselves data scientists. Well, they are not really a data scientist to my view. The reason is because you just know coding and you know how to massage data, but you don't know the domain. So again, like I said, maybe 20 years from now, we'll be having some new data scientists come out. But at this stage, it's always the SMEs from a technology standpoint, working with SMEs from the domain. Only then, and only then, will you be able to hit a business outcome. From there, we could go into preparing the data or developing the AI platform. So from start to finish, we also have these services in terms of managing this for you. So for example, some customers would not want to manage IT and infrastructure. They would only want to focus on their core job. So we do have the option of doing the managed services for you. So you focus on what your outcomes are. We can ensure the SLAs and things for your infrastructure. If you need training, that is also something which we can deliver to you. So this is going towards my last slide. So like I started from a journey in terms of AI, it's always complex to a customer, and there's a lot of risks which are there. From a Dell perspective, we provide you the end-to-end infrastructure components for your AI journey. We also provide you the services, right from consulting to implementation to managed services in terms of running these systems. And last but not least, from a support perspective, we have the support teams, supporting you from the end-to-end solution for our Dell validated designs, so that you don't have to take the risk of, managing these solutions by yourself. Just to give you a view, how is Dell performing in the AI? This is the Forrester report from 2024. If you look at the leadership quadrant, okay, it's difficult to see over here. There are 5 names. Out of the 5, there are only 2 who are in the infrastructure business. That's NVIDIA and Dell Technologies. The other 3 are Azure, Amazon, and Google. So we are in the leadership quadrant due to these reasons on how comprehensive our AI offerings are. That's it, which I had to share. I again appreciate your time and for the opportunity to speak to you all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Sid so much. Ada apa-apa soalan tak? Anyone at all? Okay, I think we should have a 5-minute break for toilet. But before that, I just want you all to know, right? In Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, our Prime Minister, dia namakan we have the first AI faculty in Malaysia dekat UiTM. Telah dilancarkan pada 10 hari bulan Mei 2024 tahun ni. Okay, so what did they invest? They invested dekat 160 juta ringgit untuk GPU servers dan the whole AI infrastructure. And this is just the first phase. And tahu tak para hadirin siapa yang tolong mereka? Actually it's Dell. It's on Dell and Nvidia. Right, so and also just to let you know, tadi my colleague kata, okay, Dell we have the whole infrastructure to help you, right? But I'm sure ramai daripada kalian, okay, memang AI the best, okay? Tapi kita orang tak tahu macam mana nak start dari mana, right? So do we have the expertise? I'm also not sure whether I have the expertise ke tak, right? Do I need external expertise? Yes, but I don't know what that I need to tell them to get their help. I pun tak tahu what help I need from them. How do I start? So, Dell, we have this foundational program. We help customer to identify you nak start dari mana dulu. Because when you talk about AI, you cannot just do one time big bang. You need to start from somewhere, right? And Dell, we are not having these slides here. Okay, we have package solution. How many servers, with how many GPUs, with what type of modeling, whether it's translation, okay, whether it's forecasting, right? Okay, this one can handle how many petaflops, teraflops. We start from one small thing, so we start from few hundred K to few million. I mean, just to give you an example. So you don't need to be an expert in infrastructure. You don't need to be an expert in NVIDIA. You don't need to be an expert in the middleware of AI. We already have that for you. So, and also, Sid mentioned something called modeling, right? And also getting your data from data lake, data warehousing. So, apa data lake and data warehousing? So, basically, it's a glamour name for where is your data stored. How do you get all your data? And macam mana kita nak massage data ni untuk, katakanlah untuk bahagian meteorologi, kita nak buat prediksi forecast untuk weather. So how do we use all this? From the satellites, from the dekat buoys at the sea or the balloon, macam mana kita nak model this to get information, new information, right? So we use all of that with our startup solutions that we have. You don't need to be an expert, and we have pre-trained models, right? You don't need to start from scratch. And all of this, when people talk, bila orang ramai cakap pasal AI, you say, oh, AI is really nice, but we really don't know where to start. The answer to you, we can start really from basics, and we already have it for you. And sometimes, we also have our ecosystem, okay? We have some of our partners, maksudnya SI yang besar dalam Malaysia, right? Diorang ada invest dalam AI factory, just to name one of them is one of SNS as well, right? So, if let's say you don't want to invest in AI, but you want to use, you nak gunakan saja, we already have that, okay? So with that, we can have a 5 minutes break. Boleh lah, minum kopi ke, or go to toilet. Thank you everyone. Yeah, we come back in 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Ada siapa kat luar lagi? Or kena tunggu? Or we can just start? Right? Oh, boleh Okay, terima kasih sekalian. Okay, we are moving to our next topic. The slides dah ready? Yeah. The slides dah ready bukan yang ni, yang backup dulu. Oh, you go first. Okay, alright. Okay, can that one. Alright. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about getting your data AI ready using unstructured storage solutions, right? I'll pass the mic to my colleague Kumarabalu Kartik, right? Here you go. Oh, here.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope it's audible. Good. And it's a great honor to speak, before you all today. And very good morning. And one commitment is I will complete my speech on time. At the same time, I would need one more commitment from the dignitaries, delegates here. That is, please ask at least one question once I'm done with my presentation. So I want it to be more interactive. So that's what that's what is going to help us going forward to work in a collaborative manner. And to tell about me, I'm leading the business, driving the business of unstructured data storage for Dell Technologies for Malaysia, rest of Asia Pacific, and ROIC countries. So let me tell you how unstructured data storage is kind of related with AI and analytics. I would like to start like this. If I need to equate Malaysia in my perception, because I had been in Malaysia for past 12 years, and it's 12 years now in Malaysia, one word to equate: hospitality. I can never forget Malaysia in my life and my career in Malaysia. So when we talk about AI, why did we name it as getting your data AI ready? Is because everybody today, the whole industry, across industries, not just about meteorology, across industries, everybody is thinking about AI. Once the jargon of GPUs came into picture, everybody wants to buy GPUs. But how it's going to affect their proceedings, how it's going to help them in terms of use cases and workloads, and how it's going to help them to get a better ROI, better technology in future, is what we're going to discuss. In one of the research scientists in one of the papers, she has mentioned or equated LLM to stochastic parrot. Why? LLMs are large language models. Why it's been equated to stochastic parrots is because input, if it is fine-tuned, if it's of better quality, the output is also going to be of better quality. The input is debris and output is also going to be debris. So that's where we are. And Elon Musk, in one of his conversations, he has mentioned the least scary future I can think of is one where we have at least democratic AI that actually aligns with the ideology of AI. Is that a... Excuse me. Should I point it here? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption. So this is our chairman and CEO, Michael Dell. What he says is, for us, this is all about data, which is really the fuel for AI. And he also said something else, that is, bringing AI to data. We are not actually taking data to AI. What's the difference between bringing AI to data and taking data to AI? This is the difference. You see, even in meteorological department, we need to get the results as soon as possible. It's going to be a high-frequency data, sensor data. You need to get results in a timely manner. If we take data to AI, in terms of consolidation or anything, it's going to take time, right? Even for that matter, Of course, the cloud vendors are here today, but even for that matter, if it is today, the complete the technology department, the industries are all thinking into edge analytics. Edge analytics is doing analytics at the edge, not at the cloud, just because of the performance and the speed that we want, right? So that's what it actually represents. This is about the data growth. What is kind of forecasted is 175 zettabytes of data is expected to appear, to get generated in 2025. And it's all unstructured. Why we call it as unstructured? Block data is a database, right? It's relational-oriented data. And in terms of FSI language, it works on the OLTP protocol. If it's unstructured data, what I'm speaking right now, the audio and the video which is captured, that's unstructured. If it's recorded, it's unstructured. The sensor data is unstructured. The weather data is unstructured. Image that you take, the geographical images, that is unstructured. Semi-structured data, CSVs, JSON, XML, they're also categorized as coming under the unstructured data storage umbrella. That's why they say 90% of data here is all unstructured, only 10% of data is block data, basically. So now let's talk about what is domain-specific data, enterprise data, and also LLMs. So we are all talking about AI. So okay, let me ask this as a question. How many people at least have the base of AI here? Or the base of technology? How many people are into technology today? Here, can you please raise your hands? How many people are in technology? Technology, IT, in your department. See, I know that you're industry experts. We all know that you're industry experts. But do we have people who manage the IT infrastructure, like applications, the storage, the servers? Do we have? Excellent. So definitely you would have heard about AI and analytics. So when we speak about large language models, as my colleague mentioned, the large language models can come from different repositories. Like Hugging Face is one, right? And we have Meta, and NVIDIA has got their own repository. So there's one way of building the language LLM, that is by creating it and building it from the base, from the scratch. The other way of doing it is picking up some foundational models from already existing databases, repositories, and then building on top of it. In AI workflow, we have got 4 parts to consider. When we think about AI, if we need to, today morning when I was having conversation with the directors here, so we understand that you're also trying to build a model, right? So if it has to be built, the AI workflow has got 4 stages. One is gathering data, data collection. Second is training. Third is optimization and customization. Fourth is inferencing. So where does we need a lot of compute? Is to train the model, right? Why do we train the model? The more we train with precise data, with excellent quality of data, the better will be the output. So training consumes a lot of GPUs for you, the compute. If somebody thinks about buying GPUs, that's where they use compute. Then inferencing will also, involve a lot of compute, that is GPUs. So we need to understand the workflow and use it accordingly. What is domain-specific data? See, when we talk about AI and language models, large language models, we also we need to understand that it is knitted with risk of security. How? It's because, see, when we train the models, it is not that we are just going to train that model with the generic data. We are going to train the model with the domain-specific, your industry-specific data, that is number one. Enterprise, is actually called as industry-specific data. Then domain-specific is your company's data. You're going to train that model. If that model gets leaked, right, then your company's data will get exposed. So security also is going to be most important for you. Once you build the model, train the model, you have to secure it. That's the most important thing that we need to consider. And we're going to talk about the cybersecurity. One of my colleagues is going to speak about this later. But this is the chain of events or features that we need to think about when we try to build LLM. So this is just a depiction of data as your differentiator. Why are we here today? Of course, my colleague spoke about AI, but I'm not here to speak about AI only, but the core part, as I said, data is the fuel. Data is the most important thing which decides how good your AI model is going to be, right? Okay, there's something called as hallucination. What is hallucination? Say, for example, when you train the model, if the model is getting trained with some amount of data, you ask a question to that particular model to give you an answer with whatever information that it has got trained. That's what we call it as experience, right? So we are experienced in this particular industry. So we have the answers to the questions based on that particular industry. Same way, the model will also answer to your question based on your question if it knows it. How it will know? It got trained on it. But if that model doesn't have that information to give you, it will hallucinate. Hallucinate, right? It won't give you the proper answer. For that, what happens? That's when the RAG comes into picture. You would have heard the jargon called as RAG, R-A-G, right? Retrieval augmented generation. That, what it does is, it doesn't train the model only with the domain data or the data which is around it, but it also trains the model by getting the relevant data from internet. So more the model gets intelligent, more benefit and more precise the output would be. So data is the key to AI, and there are, of course, challenges, I said, in the form of security. But the most important challenge that we have today in every company, I would say, across industries, is finding the relevant data. Because the data is completely siloed in nature in most of the companies. Siloed in nature in the sense they are not connected. One organizational unit will have its own data. The other organizational unit will have its own data. So when it is siloed in nature, we have to consolidate the data. That's when you will have, you need a scale of the storage products to store that particular data. Because at the end of the day, when you consolidate the data from different organizational units, you will use that data to train the models. So you need, large amount of data. You said petaflops and teraflops and things like that, the compute power to train the data. So siloed data has to be avoided. We need to consolidate the data. And data accessibility and quality, we have already spoken about this, because to fine-tune the model, you need precise data. Then scale and performance. Okay, think about this. You have large amount of data, but you have only few servers to hold it, right? Where is the scale that we have? Because the model is built at an environment, and you need large amount of data to train that. So where is the scale? So you need highly robust and scalable architecture, infrastructure, and storage for you to store the data first. That's what scalability and performance means. Performance, of course, when the storage is in your data center, it is going to perform well because, of course, you're going to bring in some GPUs, and that's going to give you compute power. There is something called as, you can note down this terminology, it's called as GPU starvation. Because today, when we talk to many industry people, when they hear the terminology of GPUs, they think that, okay, once we get the GPUs, we can achieve AI. But the truth is not that. You can achieve AI to an extent. You can start with the AI with the GPUs, but the GPU starvation, what does it mean is, when you buy in GPUs, you increase the compute power. Okay, you have increased the compute power. How it would crunch the data? You need better storage to resonate and work in harmony with the GPUs to push in the storage, the data to the compute for it to act upon that particular data. So that's called as GPU starvation. If you don't have a powerful storage, performance storage, the GPUs that we buy at the front end, it's not going to be of much, it's not going to show much effectiveness there. Then regulatory concerns. This is all about data, because there are some companies which we understand that we have to store the data within Malaysia, and there are some regulatory and legalities around it, so we need to take care of that. Security risks and ransomware, I've already spoken about. Escalating costs. Okay, we are all talking about AI today, but what about the skill set? Do we have people who are well trained on AI already? Yeah, it's a big question. So for that, okay, even if they are trained, they come up with, high dollar value. That's why it's escalating cost. So a lot of investment is needed to even think about AI. In March 2024, this year, Dell Technologies introduced something called as Dell Data Lake House. So that's what is mentioned in the second horizontal bar, the Dell Data Lake House. So what does it mean? Dell Data Lake House. So what does it mean? Generally, consolidating data is called a single source of truth, right? But here in Dell Data Lakehouse, we follow a phenomenon called as single point of access, which is powered by one of our partners called as Starburst. Starburst is the fastest query engine today. So when we connect the two statements that I made today, getting AI to the data, right, and then the Starburst, you understand this. The data can come from different sources. Yeah, you can use it for forecasting, weather forecasting, marine weather, and then aviation and everything. So it can come from different application and different sources. Why should we basically bring the data to one place by consuming time? Instead of doing that, the Starburst, what it does is, it goes and queries the data wherever the data is. So that way, you save a lot of time, number one. Number two, it maintains the freshness of data. Think about this. When you bring in data from different sources to one place, it means, say for example, at 2 p.m., you're bringing data from different sources to one place. When you bring in already and do analytics on top of the consolidated data, that means there are some changes happening at the source. So if there are some changes happening at the source, that means you don't have the fresh data at the consolidated layer. That is why Starburst has changed the single source of truth phenomenon to single point of access, and it goes and queries the data wherever it is. That way, you maintain the freshness of data. So that's Dell Data Lakehouse for you, and we maintain an open ecosystem. In terms of GPUs, we are vendor agnostic. At the same time, when we are when we discuss about the Dell Data Lakehouse, it's again an open system. Why we call it as an open system? It's because we use open table formats like Iceberg, Delta Lake. We use open file formats like Parquet, Avro, ORC, etc. So what's the advantage for any organization like this? The advantage is, tomorrow, instead of Starburst, there's something else comes in. Say some other application is coming into picture like Moonburst or Galaxy Burst or something. You can very well change the application. You are not getting vendor locked. That's the advantage. You are not getting vendor locked with Dell Technologies. You can change that Starburst application and put Moonburst. Same way, we are bringing in object storage of Dell Technologies in Dell Data Lakehouse. If you want to change the object storage tomorrow after 2 years, of course, you can definitely do that. You're free to change. So the architecture, the design with which the Dell Data Lakehouse is made is all open. It's an open ecosystem. So there is no vendor locking. So object storage, ECS, and PowerScale is all mentioned there. And more than that, the most important point and the advantage that you get here is you get one throat to choke, which is Dell Technologies. Level 1, level 2 support you get from Dell Technologies. So if you, say for example, if you procure, say Kubernetes containers from someone and the Rancher to complement it from someone, network from some vendor, storage from some vendor, compute from some vendor, what would happen is, if in terms of when we hit the block roads, right? If there is any issue coming into picture, that's when the finger pointing would start. There'll be a problem. You cannot solve that particular issue, but we get support from, in this case, we get support from one particular vendor, which is Dell Technologies. That's the most important advantage that we provide to our customers and organizations like this. So this is about the ecosystem and how to make our data ready in terms of generative AI. We discussed about, of course, training the models. We discussed about RAG. See, first of all, we need to be ready with a strategy, in the sense use case for which we want to basically train the model, right? Generative AI, of course, we are going to fine-tune the model to a greater extent so you get better results. Then the data is most important. AI models, you can of course choose. As I said, there are so many vendors in the market. If you're building from the scratch, you can do, or if you want to select some foundational models and build on top of it, you can do. And the platform we provide, Dell Technologies provide the complete platform, as my colleagues mentioned. Then the people. As I said, of course, it is expensive today, but you need to think about the skill set which is involved. And we also provide the free consultation as well to an extent. And of course, when it goes beyond that period, then it becomes chargeable. But we work closely with the customers and organizations to basically enable them to think about AI and get going in their thought process and the aim. So when I spoke about the GPU starvation and also storage. So when we think about powerful storage, this is what we offer with the GPUs of several, because we are vendor agnostic, as I mentioned. GPUs can come from AMD, Intel, or NVIDIA, but to avoid GPU starvation, we provide the best performance storage which can supply data to a greater extent and with very high performance. And most importantly, to tell about this is the first Ethernet storage which got validated with NVIDIA DGX SuperPod in this world, across the world. So that's power scale. Okay, so I spoke about Dell Data Lakehouse. I said the Starburst is a query engine which is used there, and it can go and query different sources. How do we do that? The sources, you can see the vertical block, which has got all the sources. It can be Teradata, it can be Oracle, because we don't have any control. So you might already use an Oracle in your environment, Teradata in your environment. It can be a Splunk in your environment, Cloudera in your environment. Most of them are our partners. So we work hand in hand. Then you might tell us, okay, I've already created a data lake. I've consolidated the data already. So what will I do with that? You are now telling me that it's going to query at the source. No problem. The data lake that you have already created can become a source for Starburst to go and query the data. So basically, we take care of the Kubernetes, Rancher, the nodes like controller nodes, coordinator nodes, worker nodes, storage, network, and Starburst, the application which works on top of the data. You get complete ecosystem from us, from Dell Technologies, in the form of Dell Data Lakehouse with excellent support, level 1, level 2 support. So to move on, this is a demo which is about Dell Data Lakehouse. Many people will think that, okay, can you show us? What we see is what we believe. So this is the demo. See, we enter into the Dell Data Lakehouse GUI. Now, this shows about a cluster which is already created, Dell Data Lakehouse cluster. And then we can basically, that's called as DDSCP. And then we can add compute power in the form of CPUs to that particular cluster for it to work the way in which you want it to work, you intend that to work, and you can assign memory. This is all about the attributes that you can add to that particular cluster for the cluster to work, right? Then comes the catalogs. Catalogs are certain things which helps you to connect to different sources. So different types of connectors would be there, and that is controlled in the catalog. See, in this, they are kind of adding one of the connectors because they might have some source, and based on the source, they will select the connector. They configure it so that it can go and query the right data at the right source. See, they're selecting deep, I think, green plum. This is about connecting the catalog, connecting it to the source. So default storage is S3 storage, which is offered from Dell Technologies, and it's called as ECS, which is otherwise called as object storage. They're selecting the data. Because object storage works entirely different from a file storage. In Dell Technologies, we have got purpose-built products for every operation, for every use case. So object storage always comes with our Dell Data Lakehouse, which is for analytics. Why it is S3? Because it works on S3 protocol and purposely built for S3. But if you ask me whether it supports NFS and other things, yes. So, and also, this particular demo shows you about how to collect the logs for the support people to understand. As I said, one throat to choke. You have to get the logs from application, you have to get the logs from network, storage, nodes, compute nodes, etc. That will help the support engineers to give you better support, and in terms of, in case of any issues, they can solve it too at the right point in time, because that's what is most important. So we use something called as Dell Data Lakehouse Analytics Engine, that's DDAE. See, this is a report. It shows certain warnings. It is just a demo, so it shows certain warnings, and the support staff, when he looks at it, he can act upon that. The logs which comes up. Then comes the infrastructure. You can see controller nodes, worker nodes, and coordinator nodes is sitting on one of the worker nodes. So the 3 controller nodes and 2 worker nodes and coordinator nodes will be sitting on one of the worker nodes there. You can see all the details of those nodes basically in the form of memory, storage, and CPU. And the software details are completely listed. So it's basically quite telling. This particular Dell Data Lakehouse is quite telling. If you think of doing a lot of analytics on top of the data that you have, you can definitely consider this Dell Data Lakehouse solution, which is offered by Dell Technologies, and support connectivity. Then definitely you will ask about the licenses. So when we provide the Dell Data Lakehouse, the license is already included in that particular appliance. That's the demo of Dell Data Lakehouse. Last but not the least, but we are, as I said, fabric agnostic, partner agnostic, and you can say that technology agnostic, application agnostic. So we generally work hand in hand, collaborate with the customers, and we act as technology partners for the customer to choose the right product based on the requirement. But you can choose any partner with which we work basically. So it's not a problem at all for us. And these are all few QRs. You can see, we have got validated models, model customization, and design guides for inferencing, model customization, and RAG. In case if you find time, we'll share this with you and you can take a note of it. Okay, so AI revolution, it's happening. Everybody is venturing into it. We as Dell Technologies, moving forward, we can make you to move fast with us in terms of AI and analytics. And Dell Data Lakehouse doesn't have any vendor lock-in, as I mentioned. So there is a half-a-day fee-waived accelerator workshop, which is offered by our Dell Technologies Services Department. Please, we would request you to make use of it and contact our AE and the DCSE if you're interested. So that's all for today. Thank you so much. I've taken, I think, a little more time than what I need to take, but I'm really sorry about that. But thank you so much for this opportunity. At least I'm happy that I was able to convey whatever we have today. It's for you, it's your, to help us. You can, it's our duty together to basically align your thought process, your aim with what we have, and we are here to help as Dell Technologies, right? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. So far okay? Semua okay? Dah mengantuk? Tahulah. Okay, so anyway, we have one last session. Tak akan ambil lama, dekat 30 minit, right? So the next session will be talking about backup, but mostly focus on cybersecurity lah, right? Before that, now it's 12:10 minit. Okay, I'd like to pass to my colleague Brenda Niam, right? Please ask any questions. Okay, wait, she's still doing something there. Right, okay. Okay, well, she's setting up. Ada apa-apa soalan tak? Anyone at all? Tak payah rasa malu. Ataupun dah mengantuk dah, right? So, yes.
It comes with the appliance. Yes, it comes with the appliance. Yeah. Yeah, not in this forum at least. because see, it's not about not being open. It's about it's based on the requirements. It changes. See, for example, the number of nodes used in Dell Data Lakehouse in terms of controller nodes, coordinator nodes, and this thing. It depends on capacity that we use. It depends on compute power that you need for a specific use case. So that's the only reason. Okay, thank you. Right. And one second. Any question from audience? It'll be interesting. Let's make it interactive.
Okay, while my colleague is setting up, right? So we also understand dekat Jabatan Meteorology for your backup, and you probably don't have any cybersecurity yet. I don't know, I could be wrong, right? For backup solution, we have very interesting solutions as well. We call it Apex backup solution, right? We will share a little bit. Other than that, just to let you know, today will be a bit too much information lah, right? Memang terlalu banyak information, so we also bengang sikit lah, right? So the thing is, we can always do a separate session, right? We can always do a separate session. You have anything, you can come to your office here, ataupun dekat KLIA, ataupun dekat luar negeri pun boleh lah, but then make sure it's somewhere interesting lah. Anyway, so in case if you need to do another session dekat you need us to help with any events at all, we can also do that, right? Sebab I know your leaders are here, but let's say suddenly menteri-menteri nak tahu apa-apa benda ke, we also have something called EBC on wheels. Okay, what do we mean by that from Dell is, pilih lah all the key topic today, AI ke, HPC ke, IoT, cybersecurity, anything at all, we can showcase our solution dekat Cyberjaya, okay? And we also showcase, when we say showcase, bukan tunjuk slide je tau. So we show you our SOC, our NOC, all there, right? And semua kat Malaysia, right? If you want to do factory visit as well, also can, let us know, okay? Brenda, are you ready? Yeah. Still on live, huh? Oh, okay. Okay, tergedal sekejap. All right. So our final superstar will be presenting. Okay, I'll pass to Brenda. Thank you.
Selamat tengah hari ya. Nama saya Brenda. Sorry, actually I ada video nak tunjukkan tapi tak tahulah ngapa tak boleh lah. So maafkan, tak apa. I know I'm standing in between lunch kan. Teruklah I ni kena lari, Zoom, but just give me 15 to 20 minutes. I think saya akan bertutur dalam bahasa Malaysia dan juga English. So, I minta izin untuk Okay, so selamat tengah hari lagi. Nama saya Brenda. Saya dengan Del dah actually we EMC dulu. And then EMC, ada pernah dengar tak EMC? Tak pernah Okay, anyway, EMC then Del belilah EMC. Lepas tu I sudah jadi Del punya orang lah sekarang kan. So dah 8 tahun dekat sini. But if you talk about in IT, tak mau bagi tahu lah, nanti tahu umur kan. So malu sikit lah. So I was with IBM before. I also with Symantec before and then Veritas. So my forte actually basically dalam backup. Okay, boleh tak saya tahu ada sesiapa di antara kamu backup admin tak? Ada siapa yang buat backup? Jangan malu lah, jangan sengan. That means you are the expert already tau. Ada kan? Ada buat backup Tapi gunakan solution apa? Solution apa? Cut and paste. Adakah apa nama data material tak important? Mesti important kan? Okay, besides all my colleague yang cakap tentang AI, data gunakan untuk intelligence, tapi the fundamental is all your critical data, right? Like your databases, okay? Your emails, ada tak buat backup? Ada Jabun, guna apa? Guna apa? Okay, good. At least you have backup. So today, I'm going to talk about, hang on, let me show my slides. Belum? Oh, I sembang lagi lah kalau macam tu. Bukan I yang lengah technical punya issue Okay, but give me 15 minutes. I pun lapar, I pun nak makan juga. Tapi this morning I was given apa tu? Mihun goreng. Wah, best lah, sedap. Sedap sangat. Just use the slides ni lah. Okay. Actually, like I said, that's my video, but I don't think I can play it, but never mind. Do I go this way? Okay. So I'm going to talk about Apex Backup Service. Basically, we will talk about your traditional backup and the challenges. I think bukan saja public sector, because I work a lot with FSI, banking, and also with other public sector juga. And most of them, because of the critical data mereka backup, they actually have issue, Issue, what sort of issue? You see, they have different type of workloads. Like I mentioned tadi, you are the email, you are the databases, you are the apa lagi? Banyak type of workloads, okay? And all these data are very important to the organization because they are your crown jewels to make informed decisions before you can decide on some of the important decisions that you need to make for the company. So, and on top of that, right, you have all this increased storage cost. Sebab business grow, data pun grow. Selalu saja you nak backup, tapi tak cukup tempat. Your storage start to grow. Storage, some of them say is cheap, depending on what you use. Some say use tape library. But tape library only can read 2 generations back. So what about the older data? So all these things you need to take into consideration, kan? Lepas tu, data integrity. Okay, whether these data are actually, you have the integrity, or somebody already manipulated it, you backup, you pun tak tahu, kan? So then you have all those added complexity. Memang banyak, okay? And of course, you backup people come and go. Sometimes the resources is not enough. And like, as the technology is catching up so fast, I'm growing old, I pun susah nak follow up with all the technologies. So So these are the limited access to resources that what we're referring to, and of course cyber attacks. You know what cyber attacks is, isn't it? Bila dia attack, dia minta ransom. Bukan RM10, bukan RM1,000. They ask for millions. Kan? So, and I think all of us are not, protected, from cyber attack. Kita individual pun selalu dapat spam call. Kan? And sometimes we are so gullible. If we are not, especially the older people, they don't know. They will just say, bagi, alamak. Because of tak tahu apa love lah, semua 100,000 sudah hilang. Sayang, all these things. So this also will happen to your organisation punya data. Okay? No battery. Just press for me lah. Next, yeah. Okay, so I think percentage data statistics is important, okay? And these are really statistic lah, bukan saya yang letak ya. Tetapi in the past 12 months, meaning 1 year ago, all these organizations faced with increased number of cyber attacks, okay? It says 75% all the existing data protection is not able to respond to ransomware threats. Okay, all these are the percentage, and I don't want to go through all of them. You can read it yourself. All right. Next, please. Yeah. So today we want to say, when we talk about Apex backup, we talk about simplicity, agility, and control. Everybody wants the system to be as simple as possible. As an end user myself, I want everything to be simple. You don't give me something that is difficult, I will probably say thank you very much. So I think in every organization also, if whatever technology you're going to use, it has to be simple. You have to be able to be agile, to react quickly, how to use this data, and also to minimize the risk and the performance of those systems that you will be applying into your organization. Okay, you must have control. And let me try. So let's talk about our offering. This Dell Apex Backup Service is basically a service. You don't have to own anything. Okay? If I show you the video earlier, I can show you the whole portfolio of Dell data protection, whereby you can own yourself on-premise and your people will manage it themselves. Or today I'm focusing on Dell Apex Backup Service, whereby we provide you the service. We give you the options to handle. No required infrastructure. It's all subscription licensing. Easy, right? So you know why? All this backup thing, right? It's not your portfolio. It's not your forte. So why want to bother about it? You focus on your business, which is knowing the weather, knowing this, knowing that, which I think my earlier colleagues say, all those jargons which I tak faham lah, I pun tak tahu kan. So I don't claim to know everything. So like for this, right, you don't have to have your own infrastructure. Don't own anything. Okay, you can do your backup restore. You can preserve your users. We provide you the ransomware recovery, search, audit, compliance, legal hold. We protect your endpoints. What is endpoints? Like your laptop, your mobile, handphone. Okay, you can also have your SaaS application. What are some of your SaaS application? I think your email, you're using Google, right? Google Mail again? Google Mail is also a SaaS application which we can actually protect. Okay, and of course your hybrid workloads, like I say, your databases. What databases are you using? Oracle? SQL? Yes? No? Don't know? Databases. Gunakan Oracle ke? SQL ke? Postgres and all that. Yeah. So all these databases, we can actually help to protect them, right? Okay, and give the DB admin what to protect, the logs and all that, so that if anything happens, you can roll back. Okay, which is important. Okay, so these are some of the use cases which I've already went through, right? So if you see on top there, we have this wide variety of use cases. You can start immediately and also to expand. For example, your Google Workspace there, right? Use your Google email or your Google Workspace. We can help to protect. If you are in public cloud, which you are not, okay, you're not yet. And then your data centers, if you have VMware, you have other data workloads, we can protect those. And of course, the edge will be your laptop, like what I mentioned. Okay, so all these are some of the use case that our Dell Apex Backup Service can provide to you, at your fingertips without owning anything. Just subscribe to our services. And if before you subscribe, you nak tengok demo ke, nak buat POC ke, we can do all that online very quickly for you to use it. So you just make arrangement with us and kita boleh tunjukkan, ya. Okay, so security standard and certification. Sebab they will ask, hey, if I use your services, how do we know they are actually compliant? And here are some of it. We actually do all this penetration testing. The storage that we store is immutable. Immutable means once you already store it, it cannot be tampered with. So you are assured that your data's integrity is there. Tak ada orang pergi usik-usik and then you say, no, this is my backup. No, whatever we back up, we make sure we check first before we actually store it. Okay? And then everyone talk about zero trust architecture. Definitely our platform is a zero trust architecture. And as you see, it is all already tested, trusted and tested with all the names, macam FIPS lah, FISMA lah, all these are some of the standards that we follow. Mungkin tak kenal lah sebab macam US punya kan, Malaysia tak tahulah, tak ada kat sini. Like for Bank Negara, make sure, like when I work with the banking industry, Bank Negara must make sure that certain things you need to follow the guideline. Okay? So, did I go back? Oh, sorry. Okay, so when you use this solution, doesn't mean we take control of your backup. You will have your own user interface. So whoever your backup admin is, they will get to see all this centralized monitoring and management of how successful your data has gone through. For example, when you do a backup, you normally at the window, kan, the SLW window, let's say you start backup from 6 p.m., it must finish within 8 hours. So then there is actually a monitoring system to make sure what has been backed up successfully and make sure they are able to restore it. Okay, so this is the centralized management system. Okay? Okay, I don't want to go through this again because I think I mentioned to you that we can actually protect your Google Workspace, your email. Ada tak your SharePoint? You use the I think Google, you also have like a portal kan, where you store all your data. So like all those, like maybe this morning yang you share the performance lah, or the holiday, all that, maybe you store in one portal kan. So that portal can be protected also, right? If you don't want anything to go missing, you can actually protect those data. Okay, and then of course to secure the end users in one offer, your laptops, your desktop. So maybe not everybody, like for the VIPs, the top people, the pengarah, the KP, whatever, right? Those laptop, when you all travel, when it goes missing, how? Your data all very important inside there. So if you lost your PC, your data is protected. We can actually bring back and then, put it back into your new PCs and all that stuff. See? Because if not, sometimes when you lose it, oh, sayang lah, lose it lah, right? So all this is important for you to back up. So all the VIPs of the organization, the top people, we will protect it for them. But for emails, you can decide whether you want to top, not for thousands, maybe you can go by category first. And then you grow the number of users. Who are the emails users that you want to protect them email? So but a lot of orang, when they leave, they bring the email along. You don't have any proof what they have discussed out there, what they have sent out, and all this. So these are some of the emails that we can store and lock, in terms of integrity lah, of your emails lah, right? So this is something that we considered. Not all, to be honest, not all government sector ada buat lah backup macam ni, but it's good to consider, one of a good best practice lah. Okay. boleh oh. Okay. Okay. So your hybrid workloads, if you have VMware, I think you're using VMware. Yeah? VMware, file servers, all this, we can definitely help you to protect those data. Whether it's going to be on-prem or you want to do it on the cloud, doesn't matter. We can actually do both. We can practice hybrid workloads. Okay, you can talk to us, we can advise you how you can do it, right? Start small and then you grow from there. So we talk about long-term retention because a lot of your data, right? I don't know whether you'll have to keep like how many years? Forever. Forever. Serious? That's a lot of data, right? So how do you maintain that? How do you store it? So how do you store all this data? Oh, so that's why you have, oh, okay. So I don't know, those data are important, like I think Karthik shared when you talk about the cloud and all that, the data lake, that's where you can put all those data, but I'm talking about like, let's say, the emails and all that stuff, right? Maybe not 40 years, maybe like just 7 tahun or 1 to 2 years, maybe a place that you don't need to spend so much of money to buy the storage, but just something to keep for a while, 1 to 2 years, lepas tu you can purge, and then new data can come in. So this is something that you can think of lah, as part of your backup best practice, and to change how you're doing things right now. Okay. We talk about cyber resiliency, right? You see, we talk about data that you have already backed up. But a lot of people don't know that when I have already backed up my data is safe. If anything, I just fall back to my backup data. But you know that now those cyber, what they call that, these people, the cyber, they actually attack your backup. A lot of people don't know. They only thought they attacked the front. And you all think that, hey, don't worry lah, I had the security got Depan too, I got firewall, I got APT, I got this, I got that. But is it enough? So your backup is your last line of defense, isn't it? Kalau your last line of defense pun kena attack, nak recover pun tak boleh. So therefore, we have the capability of even protecting your backup data, so that if anything all fails, right? Whatever we back up into this, what they call that, your backup repository, we have another repository only for critical data. For example, you have 10 terabyte of data in your backup. Only maybe 30% is critical for the business or for your company to continue running. So maybe 3 terabyte only go to this isolated environment. So if anything happens, this 3 terabyte of data is safe for you to recover quickly, so that outside people tak akan cakap, this company got cyber attack, they cannot run, But because you got your minimum data to continue your business, that even though you kena pun, orang tak tahu, because you can still run it. Right? So you have an isolated environment for those data to keep your business running, which is very important. Okay? So that is called the isolation, immutable, and I think I put it there. Let me see, whether the 3 I's. Can help me? The intelligent. No. You identify, you contain, and you recover. Okay? But also there's a 3 I's. The what do you call it? Immutable, intelligence, and I can't remember the 3 I's. Alah, lupa. Sorry. But there's the 3 I's that is very important. Okay, it must be immutable, right? You isolate, and then you must have the intelligence to be able to recover those data. Okay, so of course, like I said, importantly, you must have a isolated environment for those critical data. And with Dell technologies, whether you want to do it on a cloud or via services or do it on-prem, we can have both for you. Okay? Okay, of course, I cannot forget the word AI again. All this data, whatever we have, we definitely have the insight and the foresight of all this information, the backup information that you have. Kan? So then it will have you, it will offer you the advice, suggestion based on certain things that you store. These are the services that you subscribe from us, and then we will be able to read your data, and then we'll tell you what you need to do to improve, how you can use it, all right, to make smarter decisions. Okay, I think, yeah, your lunchtime is nearing already. I think this is my last slide, right? Okay, so this is the Dell solution for AI data protection. You can either use our data domain, which is called the Power Protect data domain, or if you don't want, like I said, tak mau beli all these barang-barang semua, you subscribe saja. We have the subscription service. And then we can start off with either your endpoint, we can start off with your Google Mail, we can start off with whatever, you know, that's something that we will come in and understand your environment before we give you a solution. Okay? Yep. I think any other question if, okay. So I'm just going to go back again. Basically, you can deploy within minutes if we use our services. We protect from edge to cloud to the core to the cloud, and it is 100% software has a service subscription basis. Okay, you have complete visibility, it's secure and scalable. All right, I think yes, everybody is hungry. Yes, let me do my part lah. Must see the Dell technologies. Never mind, go ahead. Next. See, that's the problem when I have been the last. Okay, so these are some of the services lah, just to tell you that, you know, just get more if you want to do in day one. We can provide all this service. You can, don't worry about implementation, don't worry about support. You know, everything is just there. We have project documentation and knowledge transfer for you guys. Okay, it's faster, better deployment with less IT effort. So if your IT is small, lean, come to this subscription mode. That's the best. I think ini last lah kan? Never mind. I just show these are the user interface. I think from there tadi I duduk pun not very clear. Tak nampak kan? Betul tak? Okay, never mind. Come. Itulah persembahan saya. Presentasi saya. So ada tak apa-apa soalan boleh tanya? Okay, I think I went a bit too fast and too zoom, but I think everybody pun, I look at the time pun, I kesian lah.
Okay. Sorry I know you nak announce, tapi I nak tambah satu lagi. Okay, so
terima kasih.
Yeah, terima kasih. Okay. Anyway, okay, Dell, we have something called a seeding program. Seeding maksudnya, katakanlah pihak MNT nak test our backup solution or test any solution that we have, we actually put that unit in your environment to let you test for free. So because you know sometimes you need to do some justification and stuff like that, we have that option as well. Alright, so untuk pihak Dell, we thank you very much for having us here. We really appreciate this. Right, so I mean, if there's any other sessions in the future, we are happy and proud to join as well. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, terima kasih. Ada soalan ke? Ada soalan? Nampaknya semua dah lapar kan? Tak ada soalan. Okay, seterusnya bagi mengucapkan sedikit terima kasih, saya menjemput TKPS kita Encik Ambon diiringi oleh Dr. Fariza dan Puan Khafizah untuk memberi sedikit cenderamata kepada penceramah-penceramah daripada Dell. Okey, dengan segala hormatnya saya mempersilakan Mr. Renaud Teh Sin Ming. Miss Brenda Niam.
Gembira I pun dapat.
Mr. Kartik Komaravelu. Dan akhir sekali Siddharth Porkatil. Okay, terima kasih kerana dapat hadir. Saya menjemput semua teammate daripada Dell untuk naik ke atas pentas bersama-sama untuk bergambar dengan pengarah-pengarah bahagian juga dijemput untuk naik ke atas pentas bersama-sama dengan pihak Dell. Pengarah negeri boleh, pengarah-pengarah semualah. Tim Dell yang lain boleh naik atas pentas untuk bergambar. Okay. Tetamu daripada Dell dan juga pengarah-pengarah dijemput untuk makan tengah hari di Cozy Corner. Bagi peserta, makanan disediakan secara pack food dan dah dihantar ke bahagian masing-masing. Bagi bahagian di atas online, mohon hadir masuk fizikal di auditoriumnya pukul 2 petang. Saya mohon juga yang di dalam talian yang berada di Ibu Pejabat, mohon memenuhkan Dewan pada pukul 2 petang untuk upacara sambutan Hari Inovasi. Okey. Itu saja daripada saya. Dijemput semua hadirin untuk makan tengah hari. Terima kasih. Untuk pengarah-pengarah di Cozy Corner tingkat 2, dijemput juga tetamu daripada Dell. Pemenang-pemenang makan dekat VIP pula, dekat Cozy Corner. AJK makan. Cozy.